Well, it's year 3 of the Butch Davis era at FIU, and the Panthers have high expectations, trying to right the ship after a disappointing opening week loss to Tulane. Western Kentucky, a tough loss of their own to Central Arkansas, makes for an interesting matchup tonight in Miami. We welcome you live to Ricardo Silva Stadium. Western Kentucky and FIU getting set to take battle here at Ricardo Silva Stadium. It's the Hilltoppers and the Panthers on ESPN+. We welcome you live to Miami. I'm AJ Ricketts alongside the former quarterback Kenny Kelly. Well, both these teams members of Conference USA, both suffering week 1 losses, and neither of them cut their star wide receiver today. So a lot of similarities between these two programs. But Kenny, I'll tell you what, nobody wants to go 0-2 right now.
No, and definitely both coaches of these programs definitely don't want to go 0-2. And then for both programs, they both stars up front. And we're going to see tonight, it should be a battle up front, but they both got to get their quarterbacks going and get the offense rolling in order to get a win tonight.
Let's take a look back at last week, starting with Western Kentucky. Looked out of the gates. They were hot. A 68-yard touchdown run on the very first play of the game. They led 14-0. Everyone thought, all right, this is going to be a win over an FCS team. And they gave up 21 in the fourth quarter and ended up losing.
Yeah, they gave up 21 points. But I tell you what, they have a stout front 7 line, but they need work out back in the backfield with the defensive backs. They gave up over 400 yards in the air last week, and they're looking to correct that this week against the FIU Panthers.
Yeah, they haven't given up that much yardage to a team in years. They lost to Maine last season, and that's not the kind of start to the Tyson Helton era that fans were looking for. Meanwhile, FIU, high expectations. They're up in New Orleans. They trailed 21-0 quickly, and the Tulane air attack was rolling under Willie Fritz, and a tough start for FIU.
Yeah, and it's tough starts when you rush for 50 yards and you give up 350 yards in rushing. So for the FIU, the big thing is starting up front, both offensive and defensive-wise, because their strongest point are the backfields for both sides. But they come out with a great showing tonight. It's going to be a great game, AJ.
FIU feels like they're a better team than what they displayed in New Orleans last week. Western Kentucky, well, they feel the same. Should be a fun one tonight in Miami. Western Kentucky and FIU when we return.
University Credit Union serving FIU.
So we welcome you back to Ricardo Silva Stadium, just about set for opening kickoff in Miami. The Conference USA opener for these two teams, FIU and Western Kentucky. Take a look at James Morgan there, 19-34 last week, consistent at times, but Kenny was never really able to get into a good rhythm through an interception early in the game, had a fumble as well. That was costly right before the half. They're going to try to get James Morgan on track.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be very important for the FIU Panthers tonight to get James Morgan on track. And last week, he was kind of shaky at the beginning, but it's very important for this team to get the running game going to be able to open it up for James Morgan.
We're underway here at Ricardo Silva Stadium. This will be taken that'll be a fair catch in Western Kentucky. We'll start at 25-yard line today. It's going to be interesting to see. It looks like we have an injury on the field first, though. Opening kickoff of this game. That was TJ Springer. I thought it looks like number 6 initially. He is down on the ground around the 20-yard line. Being attended to by the Western Kentucky staff at this point. AJ Ricketts and Kenny Kelly alongside you. Thanks for tuning in to ESPN Plus coverage of Conference USA football. FIU and Western Kentucky. We're going to get back on the right track. The Panthers with an opening week loss to Tulane on the road. Western Kentucky was at home against Central Arkansas, 14-0 out of the gates. And up 28-14 in the fourth quarter before Central Arkansas scored 21 unanswered in the fourth quarter. That's definitely not the way Tyson Helton was envisioning his time at the helm of Western Kentucky beginning. I mean, he was directing the offense under Jeff Brom only a few seasons ago when they were putting up some of the best numbers in college football. We'll certainly elaborate much more on that. You know, Kenny, we've seen a number of bad injuries throughout the past couple days here in college football. I think I was watching Rice last night play Wake Forest over in Texas, and their quarterback took a hit trying to get to the goal line. He had to be carted off the field after about 15 minutes. Then today in the Cincinnati-Ohio State game, one of the safeties having a seizure on the field in the middle of a play. He had to be carted off. And now here on the very opening kickoff, it's to be a tough situation here for Western Kentucky, and it's always tough for both teams to kind of respond to that. I heard one analyst say, the first play after, it's kind of like slow motion, and then the second play, it's almost as if everyone's forgotten about it.
Yeah, and we. And I was just listening to we set the clock here, but yeah, it's definitely you get all amped up and going, AJ, and then all of a sudden, you get a little pause in action here because of injury, and you feel for either team. It can be any team someone gets hurt like that, but yeah, anytime you get all amped up and then now you gotta kind of mellow down for an event like this. It's unfortunate. Hopefully he's okay.
And we got some technical difficulties here. We're trying to get those ironed out here in the early part of this game. Obviously not what you want to see, the opening kickoff. And that entire Western Kentucky athletic training staff is huddled over one of their players, still trying to identify who that is. They were quickly over his number. It looked initially like it might have been number 6, and you've got two number 6s on Western Kentucky, a tight end and defensive back, Josh Simon and TJ Springer. A hard time identifying that number from our vantage point. Tough way to open up this game.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. You got to feel for the kid, Vice, either way. And I'm pretty sure West Kentucky will go and look at the film after the game and see what happened and how they can avoid that again, from happening.
Andrew Ricketts, Kenny Kelly here at Ricardo Silva Stadium. It looks like they've been able to at least lift him up off the ground a little bit here, off his back, to a nice ovation from all the fans here at Ricardo Silva.
Yeah, he's up, he's moving his arms, moving his legs. They just asked him, it's like they just asked him to move his legs, he's moving his arms.
Yeah,
so he's looking okay.
Now he's up on his feet, that's great to see. Yeah, that's Simon.
Yeah.
Josh Simon, the tight end, had a couple of catches last week.
Yeah, it looks like he's a little wobbly, a little woozy, walking off the field. But from him shaking his legs and moving his arms, like he's thanking the Lord that he has his limbs working.
All right, so Western Kentucky will sit up here at the 25-yard line. As we noted, not easy to do after seeing a tough injury. Stephen Duncan will lead the Western Kentucky offense out onto the field. 5 starts in 9 games last year for Duncan, had 9 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Not a bad game for him through the air last week. It was his first ever 300-yard game, but unable to guide the offense where they needed to be in the fourth quarter. They didn't get the third down conversions. The fourth down plays weren't there for them. And as Central Arkansas stormed back, Duncan and the offense unable to get the plays when they needed, but they certainly showed a great amount of potential in the first 3 quarters.
Yes, they did. And like you said, the first 3 quarters, if they play even 3.5 quarters, they may walk out of there with a good win.
Duncan in the gun here. He's got 4 wide, and Gage Walker to his left, who had an electric start to his season opener last week on the very first play from scrimmage. 68-yard touchdown run. They'll give it to him here as he tries to make his way to the edge. Good pursuit from the secondary there for FIU, and they'll force the first third down of this matchup.
Yeah, and there's an example of Olin Cushion coming up and making that tackle or being an assist on that tackle. Stanley Oliver, who was the cornerback, was the highest tackler last week. That cannot happen, on a defense. When you have your cornerbacks and your safeties, Olin Cushion was tied for second leading tackle last week. You're not successful as a defense when you have your cornerback as the leading tackler.
Third down for Western Kentucky. They go across the middle, and that's going to be broken up by Ike Brown, who had some tough moments defensively against Tulane last week. But a nice play defensively on third down here to force a 3-and-out for Western Kentucky.
And AJ, let me make this point. What did you just see for the first time that we probably didn't see not one time last week? We saw pressure on the quarterback. Quarterback just got hit. I mean, that's a hit early on in the game that he's going to be remembering for the rest of this game. And that's what you got to do. You got to bring pressure to Western Kentucky to slow them down.
And John Haggerty, the Australian punter, nearly went over his head. That's kind of shades of what we saw 2 years ago here between these two teams, and that's shanked out of bounds. But if you're Western Kentucky, you're happy that's just not up in your own end zone.
No.
Some good athleticism there from the Australian punter.
Yeah, you don't normally expect that from your punter or your kicker. But he did a great job of snagging that ball, and if not, that ball gets behind him and it rolls to maybe the 5-yard line, and you're in trouble.
2 seasons ago, a fluke play with the Western Kentucky punter. He bobbled it at first, then thought about trying to punt it off, and was tackled and was taken back for a touchdown, I think, by Devontae Price. So not as theatrical there, but the Panthers will start in great field position here. Again, apologize for the early technical difficulties, trying to get those ironed out. 1st and 10 at the 50-yard line for James Morgan. Out of the gun with Anthony Jones at his side. First play goes to Tony Gator for positive yardage. And that's what Butch Davis wants. We talked to him a couple days ago. He said, look, we had too many 2nd and longs, 3rd and longs. We didn't get great yardage on 1st down, and that led to a lot of the offensive issues. Yeah,
and yes, we do have a strong running game, but let's be clear here. Your weapon is James Morgan. You got to get him going.
Morgan will keep it here and really tried to lower his shoulder. He was taken down quickly.
That you definitely don't want Morgan running the ball, but like I was saying, your guy on this offense is James Morgan, and you have to get him going. I think this offense will feed off the way James Morgan is going. Last week, James Morgan threw for 208 yards. That was not expected to be his first debut. We were expecting him to come out and throw for 300 to 400 yards.
He's 19 for 34 with a touchdown, an interception, and a fumble. They're going to hand it off to Napoleon Maxwell here on the sweep, and that'll be a 1st down for the Panthers. And Maxwell, one of 3 running backs that FIU is very confident in, along with Anthony Jones and Devontae Price. Price did not play last week, but is expected in the lineup today.
Well, this running back crew is taking this game here very, very seriously. You know, they got a little chip on their shoulder this game for rushing for under 50 yards last game.
FIU was 5 for 12 on 3rd downs last week, 1 for 1 now. They give off to Jones, and he's taken down in the backfield quickly. That's Takorian Darden, the former walk-on, the nickel back this season, who got to Jones in the backfield and sets up a 2nd and 12 as the Panthers quickly go to the line. Morgan has all sorts of time. Good protection by that O-line. Maloney stretches out, and he hauls it in. Nice play by Austin Maloney, who was 12th in the country last season in yards per catch, and that was enabled by a good offensive line on that play.
Listen, that was a great catch. That's a catch that you see guys making on Sundays. He reached out, got his toes in, actually kept both feet in on that catch. That's an awesome job.
Morgan again dropping back out of the gun. Pressure was coming from the left side. A little miscommunication with Alexander, who he thought was heading to the end zone. And that was D'Angelo Malone off the line, who had a sensational outing defensively last week, a career high 3.5 tackles for loss, had a sack and a half against Central Arkansas. He was doing about everything he could for his team.
Yeah, and you're going to have to slow those guys down. You know, those defense ends, they're getting a good jump off the ball, and in order to slow them down, you got to change the snap count. You got to bring a tight end over there to help out sometimes. You got to pull a running back over there to chip. So that's what they're going to do, is try to slow these ends down tonight.
You see Sterling Palmer over there on the left side with Deontay Dimery, the left tackle. Maurice Alexander, ever so shifty, able to pick up about 5 yards on that sweep.
Yeah, good call, and it looks like that the Panthers are trying to stretch this Western Kentucky defense out. You know, that was like the 2nd sweep, rocket sweep that they've shown. So I think they're just setting things up, just trying to stretch the offense so they can be able to open up the middle. The middle of the field is wide open. They're playing what you call a cover 4, where you got both safeties down to playing a run. The middle of the field is wide open. Let's see if we can go here and go for a post route and get a touchdown.
3rd and 8. Defense pressing up. Morgan. Double pumps. And overthrew Anthony Jones on the far side. Not a bad idea. It's a little bit too strong, and that'll send up the field goal unit.
Yeah, the Panthers right there had a post route on the backside. Morgan threw to the strong side, but backside you have Austin Maloney on a post route. Probably would have been a touchdown if Morgan would have looked that way, but he made a good decision there with going to Anthony, but he just overthrown.
Here's Borgalis from 39, the Luke Groza semifinalist last season from the left hash. On its way, and no good. Borgalis off on his first field goal attempts of the season. And with 10:55 to go in the first quarter, no score with Western Kentucky and FIU. We'll take a break and be back after this. You're watching college football on ESPN+. I welcome you back to Ricardo Silva Stadium. FIU and Western Kentucky in the conference opener for both these teams here in week 2. And I tell you what, sometimes maybe after a week 1 loss, Kenny, the best thing to do is to jump right into conference play. That's what matters. Both these teams have aspirations to take that next step in conference play, and they can start that goal right here tonight.
Yeah, well, they definitely started conference play early this year, and the whole goal is just to get off on a good start. You got to get on a fast start and set a good example to the rest of the league.
A little flea flicker here, Kenny. They're going to take it deep down the middle of the field, and that's complete. Lucky Jackson hauls it in right around the 30. Hilltoppers going to the bag of tricks early tonight.
Yeah, great throw. I mean, that was a perfect throw. Anything more further or shorter, that ball is knocked down. That's a great throw and catch.
And Olin Cushion is down around the 15-yard line for FIU. Their senior safety out of Miami Central, who has really taken on a bigger role the last season plus.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhat undersized, but you talk to Cushion off the field, it's a mentality for him to never let the size be an excuse for his effectiveness. Good to see him on his feet quickly here.
Yeah. Well, that's something, speaking with Olin, that's something he's kind of dealt with all his life, So right now it's you've dealt with something like that in Miami all your life. When you get to this stage, it's easy. Being the smallest guy on the field, but having the biggest heart.
Cushion appears to be all right. Good to see we saw Samuel for Western Kentucky go down on the very first play.
And you got a game like this, first conference game. This is almost, you might as well say, a must-win game. You got to pull out just your tricks. Why save them? You got to pull out everything to get this win.
Western Kentucky right outside the red zone now. As Duncan goes into the flat, so acres of grass in front of Fortenberry as he curves inside the 10-yard line for WKU. There was not one Panther defender in the vicinity of Fortenberry. And Western Kentucky in the red zone.
Oh, that was a great combination route, and basically what you saw was an over route and a curl route and a flat route, and basically you put the linebacker in a bind. If he takes the flat route, you hit the corner. If he takes the corner route, you hit the flat route. And the corner took the corner route, and the flat was wide open.
Western Kentucky with first and goal at the 8-yard line. This is Ty Story entering the game, the transfer from Arkansas. And Tyson Helton said, look, he's going to get some playing time here today. He lost that QB battle. But he had we won't say decorated, but he put up some big numbers at times with the Razorbacks. Has big game experience, a lot of poise when you play anywhere in the SEC, and they get him involved on the run there.
Yeah, and for him it was just really being consistent. They want to see him, Western Kentucky, Coach Helton want to see him be more consistent at the helm.
Didn't get much yardage out of that. Second down and goal still at the 8-yard line with Walker to the left of Stephen Duncan. They're going to throw a fade to the corner of the end zone here. That might have been hauled in, and that is a touchdown for Jakari Moses. Western Kentucky gets on the scoreboard for first. What a throw there from Stephen Duncan as Moses, the Palm Beach native out of Dwyer High School. Got a lot of friends and family here tonight. Makes the first touchdown grab.
Man, that's a great throw. I tell you, that's a perfect throw. You have the twin brother Dames there I mean, you can't have better defense than that. But
I'm
that's just
sorry,
a
that
great
was
throw.
that was Pearson. Beg your pardon,
Yeah.
Kenny. That was Jacour Pearson from still a South Florida guy
Yeah.
from Fort Lauderdale.
Man,
Just
awesome
identified
throw.
the number there, but what a throw from Stephen Duncan.
That's the second impressive throw I've seen this series that he's made. Like, wow.
Pearson out of Flanagan High School. No touchdown receptions last season. Gets one right there in Western Kentucky with a 7-0 lead here in the early going. As Duncan gets his first touchdown throw.
Yeah, you got to find a way. You have to find a way, and it doesn't necessarily have to come from the coaches, but if it's a senior or a captain, you got to find a way to get some momentum going. You got to get something going.
7-0, 8:53 to go first quarter. We'll be back after this. You're watching college football on ESPN Plus. AJ Ricketts, Kenny Kelly, Western Kentucky and FIU, the Hilltoppers, getting on the board first. And just for their confidence, you know they're deflated after giving up 21 unanswered in the fourth quarter last week. And they're on social media. They read the papers. An onside kick here after the touchdown. Did FIU touch that, or did it go 10 yards initially?
No flag.
I think that went 10. Western Kentucky living on the edge here in the first quarter. The flea flicker, and now the onside kick. And it looks like it's going to be Western Kentucky football. How about this?
Wow, what a turn of events. Man, I tell you, that is gutsy on Coach Helton's behalf. Very gutsy.
Yeah, that went 10, no doubt about it. They don't have to wait for FIU to touch it at that point. How about Western Kentucky? They're making a statement here in the first quarter. They're going to play loose. They're going to take chances, and it's working out for them thus far.
Yeah, well, it's pretty much you have nothing to lose. You know, and I'm pretty sure that's the mentality of their coaches right now. We're going to pull out all the stops. We're going to pull out all the tricks and trades, and we're going to worry about tomorrow. But today, we're going to do everything we could to get this win.
So Duncan right back out on the fields. 3 receivers set with Fortenberry in there as the tight end. 488 yards of offense against Central Arkansas. Let's see if they got a timeout there before the play clock wound down. Nope. 6 penalties for 49 yards last week. But Tyson Hilton, I mean, he's known for offense. He's the offensive coordinator, as we mentioned, under Jeff Brom. 2016, the team averaged 45.5 points per game. 2015, they were at 44.3. They faked the sweep. Duncan was looking down the middle of the field, instead finds Pearson, who just scored the touchdown. Dame's unable to make the tackle, and it'll be about 10 or so yards on 1st and 15 for Western Kentucky. And the offense certainly didn't struggle against Central Arkansas. 488 yards. That was the most they'd had in a game since Middle Tennessee in 2017. But the fourth quarter offense wasn't there, and that's what hurt them. That's what bit them thinking about that game this week.
Yeah, and I think what hurt them is the fact that the running game kind of shut down during that time. But you can see they spread it out and they can get that passing game going and see if they get it going to open up this run game.
And taking it off here, going to the outside, and the tackle made.
They have some shifty, and when I say they, Western Kentucky, they have some shifty kids on this offense. You know, you can see you got some guys that can make you miss on offense. And just looking at what Coach Helton's trying to do so far, he's trying to get the ball in those guys' hands as quick as possible.
It was Garland LaFrance with the carry. He did not register any statistics against Central Arkansas. Another third down upcoming here for Western Kentucky. They're going heavy on the right side, keeping it with Duncan. He's got the first down as he's wrapped around the ankles to the ground across midfield.
Yeah, Stephen Duncan, 6'4", 230 pounds. He looks like a big Tebow from up here running the ball. He's a big kid, and he runs with forward lean. And like you just saw right, there, AJ, that man, after point of contact, he's falling for another 2 to 3 yards.
It was 4 for 8 for 39 yards against the Panthers last season, a game FIU raced out to an early lead and never really looked back after the first quarter. Western Kentucky moving the chains. Gage Walker, another carry. Shifty, first down for Walker as he moves across the 35. This is a concern for FIU. It was dating back to last season, and that certainly carried over into this year after the Tulane game. The run defense, can they plug gaps? Yep. That's going to be the question for really not just this game, but the success of FIU this season.
And it is, and that's been the main topic of this whole week, is trying to fix the front 4 or the front 7 to stop the run.
Walker now in motion into the flat. They fake to him on the gadget play. Oh, what a pick! Intercepted by Dames. He's taking it back down the sideline. Rashard Dames at the 40. Makes Duncan miss. He may take it all the way. One to beat. End zone, FIU. Oh, what a play.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. We got a referee that went down as well.
Rashard Dames taking it all the way back to the end zone after a one-handed pick. Are you kidding me? Lil Twin. Lil Twin, that's what they call him.
Well, that's got to be an ESPN top 10 tonight. Wow, one-handed grab and took it to the house. I tell you, he had to outrun 2 or 3 of these defenders to get to the house, AJ, and he did just that. He put a move. Wow. It's a great run.
What an electric play by Rashard Dames. But a referee down on the ground, too, in the midst of that chaos. I think he might have taken a hit from a lineman.
Yep.
Oh, what a grab. They faked it to Walker in the flats. Oh, a pretty big block laid back down that sideline, too. Made Duncan miss, and then he just had to beat one of the big uglies to make it to the end zone. Seth Jost was the last one back.
That's great. That is a momentum shift. You know, sometimes you need a big play. Sometimes you need an exciting play, a big play to get you back in the momentum and get you back in the swing of things. And especially for this young team of FIU, you got a lot of young guys on this team. That might have been a wake-up call right there. That might have been the play to get this season going, AJ.
What a grab. That'll be one of the plays of the season. Well, that was Richard Dames, I beg your pardon. That was 38. Richard Dames taking it to the house. And the Panthers looking to tie the game.
You know, it's hard for me to tell, motherfucker. They both making play. They both playmakers. They both got an intricate part of this program and this football team. So
big twin,
man.
Little twin, they're known.
Yeah,
35,
man.
38. They similar build.
I tell you, you gotta love their attitude. We as coaches just love their attitude and how they come about and during practice. I mean, these kids are always talking, always in a good mood, pepping, getting everybody up. You know, so great kids and with tremendous athletic ability.
Actually, you know, everyone's high-fiving Richard down there on the sideline. The scorebook is saying Richard, but the body language is saying Richard. We're going to try to clear it up here in a moment.
Yeah.
The Dames brothers always making an impact for FIU. And the return, 80 yards for a touchdown there, ties the game. 7-7 in the conference opener. Dames lighting it up for FIU. Well, no doubt, Kenny, that's going to be one of the plays of the season. Western Kentucky just had the touchdown, the onside kick. They're driving down the field, and Dames said, enough of that.
Yeah, and couldn't happen to a better kid, but, you know, hopefully that sets the stage for the rest of this defense to get everybody up. Hey, let's go out there and let's create turnovers to give our offense a chance to put up some points.
He earns the turnover belt. FIU's prop this season, their designated prop for the one who earns the turnover as Borregales sails this into the end zone. So a new game here for the Panthers. Tied up at 7. I'll tell you what, that's probably one of the loudest responses this crowd has given the FIU team. And Butch Davis's 3 years here. You think of great moments at Ricardo Silva Stadium over the years. Olin Cushion's interception on homecoming last year.
Yeah.
Certainly one to remember. Oh, play like that. Special.
Yeah.
We're tied at 7 with 6:06 to go first quarter. A.J. Ricketts, former Miami Hurricane quarterback, and Major League outfielder Kenny Kelly alongside me tonight. Beautiful night in Miami for some college football. Appreciate you joining us on ESPN+. So how does Western Kentucky respond to that? The offense has been consistent tonight in half a quarter, aside from that play. Going to give it off to Walker on the first play of the drive as he darts forward for 6 yards. Good gap control there by FIU, but was able to cut upfield for a positive gain on first down.
That was a good play call. I mean, actually a perfect play call. You had weak side Olin Cushion coming down to be kind of like the 8th backer in the box, and Western Kentucky ran the opposite way and ended up getting 5-6 yards.
A pistol look here with the receiver on either side. Walker will get another handoff. Good pursuits by the defensive line for FIU. We'll set up another third down here for Western Kentucky.
Good to see old Sage Lewis there on the tackle. You know, I tell you, that's a guy that can get sideline to sideline, AJ, quick. You know, he's a playmaker, and that's the guy that you look forward to being the leading tackler every week, and not, you know, Stanley Oliver Thomas.
Third down and 4. Upcoming here.
Big down right here. Got man-to-man.
See if the Panthers bring pressure. Dames coming up to the line now, retreats. Duncan has a good pocket. It's eroding. He got it to Fortenberry, and this looks like it should be a first down as Western Kentucky redshirt sophomore Fortenberry was able to fall forward for a first down.
Offensive line did a great job right there, giving a quarterback giving a quarterback a time to be able to sit up and step up and make a quality throw. You got to get some pressure on him. You know, the first possession, he took a couple hits. You got to keep him coming.
Got Andrew Tarver in there along the defensive line, trying to plug some holes. Good pursuit there from the secondary. Daniel Jackson, one of those linebackers, playing a bigger role this season as well. Daniel Jackson, Sage Lewis, Jamal Gates. Butch Davis said those were the 3 he felt defensively played well last week. And they can't shoulder all the work.
Yeah. Well, the Panthers of FIU, excuse me, they're playing a lot of too high with 2 high safeties. So that's basically telling you, they really looking for the pass.
Duncan floats it across the middle. Walker dropped it and was blasted into tomorrow anyway. Dorian Hall coming up to ensure that pass would not be caught. And again, we're seeing a lot of third downs here in the first quarter for Western Kentucky.
Yeah, no, and those are the worst, those third and longs. And then right here you got third and 8, I believe. And with the momentum shifting slowly with the Panthers, this is not a situation that you want to be in as a Western Kentucky Hilltopper.
4th third down of the first quarter for the Tops. Duncan making some changes at the line of scrimmage. We'll see if FIU brings pressure. The Western Kentucky coaching staff will call timeout first. 3rd and long upcoming here. And all of a sudden the momentum has shifted in FIU's favor. Western Kentucky had the touchdown, the onside kick. We're driving. The interception return for a touchdown has really changed the feeling, the vibe here in this first quarter. There's still plenty of time to go.
Yeah, and it's kind of like with that onside kick, as West with the Hilltoppers, they was hoping to maybe get some points out of it because you hate to waste a bullet, and then don't get anything out of it. So I know that's kind of biting them, and they probably look forward for them to be active in the trick play game tonight.
When you look at the the stats thus far: 36 rushing yards, 93 receiving yards for the Tops thus far. Major edge, of course, in total offense, but pick 6 has done wonders here for FIU. 3rd and 8 after the timeout. What's that matchup along the left side of the line of scrimmage for Western Kentucky? Jason Mercier. It's Gunnar Britton. The Panthers try to bring pressure. They rush 3. Duncan gonna step up, fake the throw, and get tripped up before he reaches the first down marker. It seems like those were the plays against Tulane that Justin McMillan was turning into big first downs, big touchdowns, but it was often on 3rd and shorts instead of 3rd and 8. He was trying to do that.
Yeah, and it brings a whole different new mentality when it's 3rd and 8 as opposed to 3rd and 3, especially when you have a mobile quarterback like Tulane had. So definitely it's less stress knowing that, Western Kentucky can get out of pocket and run than it was last week.
A better snap this time for Western Kentucky. A high spiraling kick. Let's see if Alexander will elect to take this back at his own 8. Made the first man miss. Accelerates, broke a tackle, and then brought down from behind. Every time Maurice Alexander touches the football on special teams, he makes opponents hold their breath.
Yep.
To put his talent in perspective, he had more punt return yards in one game last season against UMass than FIU had the entire 2017 season.
Yeah, and everyone knows in this program that you got to get Maurice Alexander going. And last week, a lot of people felt like he didn't get enough touches and stuff, but he's that player that you got to get him the ball high. If it's punt return, kickoff return, or get him the ball in space, you got to get him the ball. He's electric. And he makes things happen.
So 1st and 10 at the 27-yard line for FIU. Low snap. Morgan able to corral it as he gives it off to Anthony Jones. One of the great stories of college football is resiliency and what he's been able to do on the field since returning from a gunshot wound through the back and face last season. A drive-by shooting, a random shooting, left him in the emergency room. Ended up coming back by the end of the season and making a huge impact. Had 3 touchdowns in the Bahamas Bowl, 2 touchdowns against Charlotte in the final road game of the season. And has really inspired his team and the FIU community. He doesn't want to stop here. He has goals. He talked to him before the season. He says, look, I want to prove to the NFL scouts I can contribute at that level. He's one of those guys in the Miami Central High School pipeline. A number of guys from his high school have made their way to the NFL. And he wants to be the next. It was an 18-yard return from Maurice Alexander a moment ago. 3rd down and 7 now for FIU. Morgan finds Alexander, broke away from 2 tackles as he got close to the first down marker. Might be a yard short, depends on the spot.
And Coach Davis just called Maurice Alexander over and told him, hey, you got to get vertical. You can't get, in that time it would have been great if Maurice could have caught the ball. And
FIU getting up to the line here, Kenny. Morgan under center, going to sneak it. He might have got the push he needed.
Yep.
Look at FIU kind of matching the boldness of Western Kentucky between the flea flicker and the onside kick. Butch Davis says, I have no problem going forward inside my 40. That'll move the chains. Feeling confident that his O-line could get enough push against what is a very talented Western Kentucky front 4. Maxwell lining up right beside Morgan here. 3 wide sets. Maxwell in pass protection. He's got Maloney deep on the far side. Flings it forward just a hair too strong. It's the second time Morgan has just put a little bit too much on it. Maloney had a step on his man.
Maloney, one of the fastest guys on the team. And we say that because you put him on the field, he's always the fastest guy on the field. He runs by everybody. And those throws right there, you have to capitalize on that. And that's a tough throw. It's a long throw, but one of those throws will get that momentum back, that you need as his offense to get clicking.
Maloney's a big play receiver. We mentioned that he was 12th in yards per reception last season. That was 20.3 yards per game, his mark. Seems like every time he touched the football, he's making a big play. Morgan's going to keep it here. I don't know if that was designs per se. It seemed like one of those guys was going the wrong direction.
Yeah, I don't think that was designed. Second and long, Captain Morgan run up the middle.
Yeah, that didn't look smooth, Kenny. That didn't look like your days at Miami flinging it down the field.
No, definitely not. No, it looked like it was miscommunication in the backfield between the running back and the quarterback.
So we see Devontae Price in now for the first time. But the clock will wind down and hit triple zeros before they get that play off. So a 3rd and long upcoming here for FIU. An eventful first quarter for both sides. We see an onside kick, a flea flicker, an 80-yard touchdown return. Pretty fun one tonight in Miami. Stay with us on ESPN+. All right, we welcome you back to Miami, Florida. Second quarter set to begin. It's going to be a 3rd and 7 for FIU. Trying to move the chains after converting on 4th down a moment ago. Morgan with no protection from his running back here in this set. He's got to get it off. Morgan running for his life. Malone chasing him from behind. Morgan, a high-speed play. Morgan chased down near midfield. Hey, hold your breath if you're a Panther fan there. That was high acceleration, high intensity play. And he had a number of white jerseys trying to put a big hit on Morgan. We got a flag on the field, though. Offside on Western Kentucky. And that'll give the Panthers another opportunity. Boy, that'll drive Clayton White crazy. Defensive coordinator. 3rd and 2 now for the Panthers. These are the 3rd downs that Butch Davis wanted to see a lot more of. This was a very talented team on 3rd down last season. Morgan in a poor pass to Maloney. Western saying they intercepted it.
Morgan's pass is incomplete.
And the Panthers went for it on 4th and inches from their within their own 40, but this is 4th and 2, and they're going to send the punt unit out.
Just a poor throw right there by James Morgan. It was a quick slant on the outside. It had the receiver open, just led him a little bit too much. On those kind of throws, on those quick slants, those 5-6 yard throws, you got to put the ball on your receiver. You can't lead them. You got to put it on them. And he just led him a little bit too much.
Here's Tommy Heatherly, who had a tough day punting the football in New Orleans, but a high kick here. And he gets a fair catch inside the 10-yard line. JUCO transfer, who had punts of 26 and 27 yards, or 27 and 21 yards respectively, I should say, with a couple of 50-plus yard punts thrown in there. But good sign for the special teams unit of FIU here early in this game after the offense stalled out. And Jay Ricketts, Kenny Kelly. Good crowds filed in here at Ricardo Silva Stadium. Beautiful sunset tonight in Miami. And both of these teams going for their first win of the season.
Just what a great atmosphere tonight. I mean, perfect weather, great campus, nice crowd. Can't beat it, Miami, on a Saturday night.
Stephen Duncan in the pistol. Give off to Walker. He shifts left. Gage Walker is a converted defensive back, Kenny. He's barely played any running back in his time at Western Kentucky. He was a running back in high school. I'll tell you what, his 152 yards last week, that was 10th most in the entire FBS. He's making a statement that this transition certainly working out well.
Well, the way they gave up 400 yards last week in the secondary, they're going to need him to play both ways. He can play the second.
Fake the pitch to him. They hit Fortenberry as Sage Lewis is in on the tackle. Nicely designed play.
And just speaking with some of the defense coaches, a lot of these first down runs and catches, on defense as far as with FIU, there's plays that should be made, but guys are maybe a little bit out of position or not filling that gap, and that was the main focus this week in practice. Stand with your plan.
Duncan started by looking left and then turned right. What a catch there by Lucky Jackson, beating Ike Brown there on the comeback route. You see signs of maturity there. A good ability as a quarterback. Certainly not gnawing his receiver down the whole time. He knew he was going to go to Jackson, but shifted his eyes to get Brown off him a little bit.
Good signs of a mature quarterback.
We saw Ty Story, the transfer from Arkansas, come in for one play. A rush for no gain. Walker remains in the backfield. Pearson's lined up in the slots, who had the touchdown grab. They fake it to Walker. Oliver nearly got to Duncan, and he's just going to have to throw this away. Good pressure from the edge there from Kevin Oliver, the junior from Davie, who had 9 starts in 13 games last season.
Yeah, and he had him pent, but he had him pent and had him, for the sack. But like you said, Stephen Duncan did a good job of maneuvering. I tell you, for a big guy, 6'4", 230, he doesn't move bad for a big guy.
Starting to put a little bit more pressure on the quarterback than what the Panthers saw last week. This is across the middle and drops. It's going to be 3rd and long, as Pearson could not hold on to that one. Stanley Thomas Oliver will come back in defensively for the Panthers. Rashad Colson in as well along the defensive line. A couple minutes into the second quarter. FIU and Western Kentucky. 3rd and 10 from the 40-yard line. Pearson in motion. Duncan initially looked right, goes across the middle, complete to Jackson, but well short of the first down marker. And as a quarterback, Kenny, I assume you're throwing that ball knowing that the reception's going to be made short, but he trusts Pearson to break that initial tackle, wasn't able to do so there.
Yeah, and that's the signs of a quarterback trusting his receiver. A lot of times in this game, you can't do it all. Sometimes you got to rely on your teammates, and they're on scholarship too. So at times, you got to try to get them the ball, and you tell them, hey, it's up to you to make something happen. And that was why I wasn't good. Those guys made me good. Santana Moss and Reggie Wayne. I just get on the ball and they did their thing. They made me look good.
You don't have to do as much work when you're working with guys like that.
That's right.
We'll keep it right here. Tied at 7. 1st and 10 coming up for FIU. Western Kentucky got on the board first with a red zone pass to Pearson in the corner of the end zone. FIU responded with an 80-yard pick 6 from Rashard Dames. Both teams have traded punts since that moment.
And you want to see, and we all love big plays. West Kentucky last week, secondary gave up over 10 big plays. They gave up 5 big plays to 1 receiver. So, we all like big plays, but you want to see the Panthers here try to put together a 7 to 8 play drive and end it with a touchdown.
Well, they're going backwards there on the give to Maxwell. There was just nowhere to go. It looked like Deontay Dimery on the left side of that line got blown up a little bit. Malone, who was all over the place last week.
Well, I'll tell you this. It's going to be tough to run on West Kentucky. They gave up, 35 yards rushing last week. And number 2 is they're playing with pretty much no safety. They're playing with 9 guys in the box, so they are daring you to throw the ball behind them.
You know, Kenny, it was only 20 yards of rushing they gave up to Central Arkansas. That was the fewest amount since 2007. As once again, you see the elusiveness of Maurice Alexander, but still going to be a tough third down here for the Panthers with 11 minutes to go in the half.
Yeah, about a 3rd and 8. Eventually, this offense, the Panthers offense, eventually they're going to have to start throwing on 1st and 2nd down. You're going to have to put together about 3 or 4 strings of good pass plays to be able to open up the run. That's just what it's going to be, because they're putting 8, 9 in the box and they're shutting down the run game.
You see the corners playing up as well. Let's see if Western brings pressure here. Now they bring 5. Morgan evades 1. Across to Maloney. Oh, he dropped it. Maloney had a yard of space, and Morgan fought to make that play possible. And that's kind of a shocker to the whole crowd here. Austin Maloney is a hometown kid out of Columbus High School. And those are the plays he's been known for making over the course of his 4 years. But drops that one, and the Panthers will be forced to punt.
You got to make those catches in this kind of game, especially at that time. James Morgan did a great job avoiding the rush there. I mean, he should have been sacked. And
Heatherly barely got that one off, but another high spiraling kick sends Western back to their own 30-yard line. What a play by the special teams unit for FIU. 58-yard punts for Tommy Heatherly. Maybe 56 and then a loss of 2, I should say.
That's the Tommy Heatherly that Coach James Villano recruited and was so high on this whole past training camp, fall camp. And for him to kick the ball like that on a weekly basis will make this team so much better, because now you're not giving up as many yards upfield as you did last week with the 2 or 3 shank punts. And that field position means a lot.
Oh, he's standing at his own end zone, and now Western Kentucky starting from their own 30. Yeah. He was the 3rd-ranked punter in JUCO last season. Showing his potential there. I'll go to Jackson on the first play of this drive. Makes 2 men miss before Cushion got to him eventually for a gain of 5. You're watching Conference USA football on ESPN+. Western Kentucky and FIU. The Panthers have won the last 2 meetings between these 2 teams after Western Kentucky picked up the victory in 2016. And 15 under Mike White, a Tampa native, who was part of that prolific offense they had up in Bowling Green for a number of years. I mean, even with the lack of success the past 2 years, Kenny, they're still 3rd in wins in Conference USA since 2011. Mm-hmm. They've been remarkably consistent. They feel confident having a head coach on staff who was a part of the program during the height of that success. I mean, 45 points per game. They were rolling, winning. One of the better group of 5 teams out there.
Yeah, and that brings confidence to the kids. You know, you come in with a background like that, it gives a lot of confidence, and the kids really respect it.
A couple of fakes to Pearson and Walker. Now Oliver nearly got to Duncan, and that's going to be broken up by Jackson, who read the pass to Fortenberry. Daniel Jackson's made a couple nice plays tonight as that outside linebacker.
It's good to see FIU get a 3rd down stand, right, which this defense struggled with last week against Tulane. But going into conference play, it's good to see your team go out there and battle and get a stop.
Alexander will stand at his own 20-yard line. As Haggerty will punt it away from his own 25. And an excellent kick as well, as that sails out of bounds. And FIU will start. Let's see where they mark it. Presumably from inside their own 20, and they'll start at the 16-yard line. When we return, tied up at 7, 8:53 to go first half. We'll take a look back at last year's game between these two when we come back. back at FIU. 1st and 10 at the 16-yard line for the Panthers. Been punting back and forth here the last few possessions. James Morgan going to try to put a drive together with this offense. Devontae Price in motion. They hand off to Anthony Jones as he goes through the B gap for a good gain on 1st down. Price was the running back who really excelled last season against Western Kentucky. He had a pair of touchdowns, including a late run to really seal the game. Butch Davis has said when he touches the ball, generally good things happen. And FIU's sure glad to have him back in the lineup. Hasn't really done anything tonight yet, but he's starting to be incorporated into the offense.
Yeah, it's just tough for him to get a lot of playing time when you got Napoleon Maxwell and Anthony Jones back there also as well.
And Morgan fumbled the football after a bad snap. It looks as if FIU recovered, but a sloppy play will move the Panthers back a couple of yards and hit another 3rd and long.
Yeah, Morgan coming up, little gimp, little limpy. Looks like he's going to be all right.
He's taking some hits tonight, no doubt about it. And a senior from Wisconsin, grew up idolizing Aaron Rodgers. Played at Bowling Green for a number of years, was recruited by Dino Babers. Once he went to Syracuse, didn't quite fit as well in that new offense. He's found a home here at FIU. Time running out, and the Panthers are going to have to punt from a similar spot once again.
Yeah, Morgan don't look the same back there in the pocket right now. He's limping a little bit. Hopefully we'll get that fixed, but it's not looking good.
Well, a clap of frustration from Morgan as he walked back towards the sideline. If you're an FIU fan, you sure hope that's the frustration of another punt, not him knowing that something's wrong with his knee there.
Yeah, you're hoping it's an ankle. Well, maybe he just took a helmet or something to the shin, but you just hope it's not a knee issue.
I think the head linesman he was taking up one of the trading tables already as Morgan walks by him there as Heatherly sends this. Oh, that's fumbled at the 42-yard line. Did FIU fall on top of it? They're signaling they did. Oh, no, it's going to be Western Kentucky football. Clayton Bush had it pump off the pads. And both teams fortuitous here after a couple of fumbles, one from Morgan, one from Bush. And Western Kentucky will retain possession. Kind of was about a step in front of where he needed to be to it went off nearly the top of his pads.
Yeah, I tell you, it's that punt return, that position is something tough. I tell you, I know it takes a real man to get back there, and a ball is punted for 4 seconds in the air, and you got 11 guys running at you full speed, wanting to knock your head off. So, but that's a position that you got to catch the ball in that situation.
I know you're a quarterback, but you rewind to high school. Did you ever do any special teams, any punt return, kick returning?
No, back in the day I was down. I would have loved it, but no, they never put me back there. but
guess you just weren't a real athlete, my man.
Yeah, once I got to college,
sat and flung it to really good receivers. That's
yeah, that was it. Once I got to college, I didn't want no pause or no kind of contact. No,
there's no need for that.
If I could have wore a green jersey during the game, I would have wore no contact, please.
Everyone just loves that green jersey in practice, don't they?
Yeah.
Damian Lewis barreling down on you. He doesn't care that it's a green jersey.
Oh, man, they didn't care back in the day.
2nd and 5, trying to lob this over the top of Stanley Thomas Oliver. Nice play there. Quinn Jernigan with his first reception of the game, and they went right at Thomas Oliver, who earned Conference Defensive Player of the Week honors last year after facing this Hilltopper team. About 5 pass breakups, an interception.
Yeah, and you're really counting on this cornerback, this DB crew, to be very successful. And so far, it's been a struggle.
They're certainly compromised against Tulane. Now the air attack of Western Kentucky showing moments tonight. Now Walker on the grounds for a gain of 9.
Walker carries.
It's almost like a cat and mouse game right now, or maybe it's a game plan thing because Western Kentucky is picking the right side to run the ball. I mean, it's been 4 or 5 times in a row where they ran the ball to the left side where FIU's brought down a 9th defender on the opposite side. So I don't know if you want to call that good game planning or just being lucky, but it's working.
And keep it on the ground with Walker this time, chopped to the ground by Olin Kushu. Looks to be just fine after a brief injury earlier tonight. A man is down for FIU. It's Cameron Burns on the line. Redshirt freshman from Crawfordville, Florida, product of Wacola High School. As Western Kentucky driving right now, trying to take the lead. 54 rushing yards, 157 yards through the air. It's about a 211 to 45 advantage in total yards here, Kenny, but we're tied at 7.
Yep, and biggest question I know, right now Western Kentucky is on offense, but the biggest question is James Morgan, is he okay? Is he going to be able to return? What's the deal with him? And hopefully we can not get a word, but we'll be able to take a sideline, view of indication if he's okay or not.
And right now in that medical tent being attended to. It's 1st and 10 for Western Kentucky, the 18-yard line, under 6 minutes to go in the first half. A.J. Ricketts, Kenny Kelly, here in Miami. A beautiful night for football. Another double fake going out into the flat. Jernigan, not that time. Just made the nice play on the run. That one a little high for him. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Good play call. He was open. You just got to finish the play, make the catch. I think he tried to run before he made the catch because he saw some green in front of him. But nicely designed play. It's got to be executed fully.
Hilltoppers 3-9 last season, 6-7 2 years ago.
Got man-to-man covers on the outside.
They'll keep it on the ground. Walker into the pile. Maybe 3 yards. We'll set up a 3rd and medium. As Sage Lewis picks up another tackle, the preseason conference defensive player of the year. But, honestly, this team, they don't want him to set another program record for tackles. They don't want that responsibility for him. They want their D-line to really step up with a lot of those first level tackles, and they'll be just fine if Sage Lewis ends up with a smaller number than last year.
Yeah, and I think it'd be just fine. I think for the most of these guys, they got to get more experience. And as you can see, the defensive line, they're rotating 7 to 8 guys between that defensive line throughout the game, to give everybody a rest and give them some playing time and some experience.
FIU will call timeouts. We'll take a break here as well. 3rd and 7 coming up after this. Jaquez Sloan, the junior from Atlanta. He led the Toppers in receiving against Central Arkansas at 74 yards on 5 receptions. And Western Kentucky is knocking on the door. 1st and goal at the 2.
I'll tell you, a lot of coaches are going, towards the 6'1", 6'2", the taller receivers nowadays. Jaquez been at 5'9", 165 with all that speed. You can utilize him definitely.
Play fake out of the eye, and that's just going to be thrown away as Duncan was blasted immediately as he was getting that pass off by Richard Dames. .356 to go here in the first half. FIU will get the ball out of the halftime break.
I tell you, as much as it sounds crazy, but right here, if you can hold them to a field goal, it's a win situation. Got to hold them to 3.
Men in motion once again. Walker dives in. Touchdown, Western Kentucky. Hilltoppers regain the lead. Walker into the end zone. 13-7 Hilltoppers. They've got to feel awfully happy with the way this first half has gone. Aside from that pick 6, their defense has been stout. This is an FIU team that's coming off program records offensively. Points per game, yards per game. They're struggling getting first downs tonight. Western Kentucky adds the extra point, takes a touchdown lead, 14-7 our scores. The Panthers will try to use the final 3:53 when we return on ESPN+. 14-7, Western Kentucky out in front as the half starts to wind down. A.J. Ricketts, Kenny Kelly, conference opener with these two teams after week 1 defeats. And the question now, Kenny, we're wondering if FIU is going to bring James Morgan out on the field after he was seen kind of limping off after that last possession. Right now, he's got a helmet off. He's thrown with Bryce Singleton along the sideline. And that's going to mean the Panthers will send out Kalen Wiggins.
Yeah, not looking good.
They've got a brace. I don't know if that was there before the game or they just put it there now. Looks like there's a brace on that left knee.
Yeah, they just put it on just now. So they're going, it looks like he's not going to go this possession.
So that means the Panthers send out Kalen Wiggins, redshirt sophomore out of Sanford, Florida. And this is the first time I believe he's seen as a Panther in game action. 1st and 10 at his own 25-yard line. What a moment for the young player as he gets positive yardage. And again, we're talking about this at the start of a football game, but it's his start.
Yeah.
Get a tackle, get the juices going. Yeah. Get in on a play.
Well, let me tell you, I like Kalen Wiggins as a quarterback back there. He brings a whole different game than what James Morgan brings. He not only he can throw the ball, but his legs is a special part of his game. So he's going to come down to him having to use his legs in order for FIU to be successful tonight.
Wiggins will keep it again. Western Kentucky anticipated it. Was able to stay on his feet. Now running for his life to the far sideline and chased down by Key. Devin Key coming in hot to bring Wiggins down. He did a tremendous job to stay on his feet. Losing a couple yards there. It's going to be 3rd and 7, it looks like.
He's getting some first time, some game experience right now, but he's going to learn quick that the D linemen and linebackers on this level can run just as fast as he can. So he's going to have to trust his teammates sometimes and just kind of be patient.
And Western adjusted quickly on that read option, anticipating he was going to keep it. Top spring 4, Wiggins. That pocket's gone, a mate to miss. Had Maloney for a moment. And a big hit near the first down marker. Boy, if he isn't effective, it sure is exciting.
Yeah.
2:20 to go. Took a hit now to bring the punt team out. He wants to stay out there with that punt unit ready to go. A bit of an underwhelming first half offensively for the FIU Panthers. 20 rushing yards, 25 passing yards.
Oh. Dang.
28 rushing yards, I should say, but still under
Look at Tommy Heatherly.
60 yards of offense. Tommy Heatherly's been a bright spot. James Villano happy with that. Well, they don't want to see their punter on the field so much. A flag on the play. See what happened there at the end of that play. I think we had some extracurricular activity towards the end of that. Games and another player from Western Kentucky. See if that's offsetting. All right, so offsetting penalties there as we take a look. They had the stat line of Stephen Duncan. Kenny, 12 for 20 tonight. Did have that pick, but he's thrown for 171 yards and that nice touchdown pass as well. He's found his receivers on the run. He's had a nice workmanlike performance tonight thus far, and he's given his team a lead and potentially 2 scores by the end of this half.
Yeah, he's commanding his offense. If you just watching, I'm just been watching him. You know, when he breaks the huddle, he's walking to the line with so much. It looks like with so much confidence. And when you're a quarterback and you have that much confidence, you know, things start to flow easy. You got to get that confidence away from the FIU defense.
Walker on the halfback toss. Down by Mercier. As time starts to tick down, Western Kentucky with 2 timeouts still remaining. Duncan. Over the top is tight end with the grab past the 30-yard line and a first down for the Hilltoppers. Fortenberry, they're getting their tight end involved in the offense all throughout the night.
Yes, actually they spread the ball around pretty well, and I'm pretty impressed with this offense. I mean, I know Coach Helton has been an offensive, you know, one of the offensive specialists, but this is really impressive. 5
receivers with a catch thus far. Duncan with all sorts of time. That's a dangerous pass across the middle. That was nearly intercepted by Olin Cushion after Dorian Hall made a play on it. Tyson Helton probably thinking, look, I love the aggressiveness, but let's take care of the football here in the final 2 minutes. Dorian Hall was on a beeline for that pass across the middle. Empty backfield for Duncan. Incomplete third down.
You got to understand, too, now I think as a coaching staff, Western Kentucky is going to be they're going to be wanting to take more shots, you know, as far as on offense, just knowing that, hey, FIU's down, they're starting quarterback. Hey, we can probably rely on our defense a little bit more. So look to them to see if they, you know, take more shots and be more aggressive on offense. Expect a run right here.
3rd and 10 at the 31.
Yep.
And flags coming from the far side. Might be procedure on the offense. That'll make it 3rd and 15. And FIU had high expectations heading into this season. And you look back to the last couple of years and how they've started off. You know, 2 years ago, the loss to UCF in Game 1, which started the night streak, and the Panthers had to really work for a win over Alcorn State in Birmingham. The 1-score game. And Duncan just throws this one away. And then they eked out a win over Rice on the road. They were very close wins at the start of that 8-win season in 2017. Then you go back to last year, 0-1 after a loss to Indiana. Then we're down 17-0 to Old Dominion on the road in week 2. Came back to win 28-20. Really interested to see the adjustments the Panthers make here, the halftime locker room of a week 2 game. They've got a great crowd here on hand. Good student turnout. Hoping to see some offense in the second half. Good snap here. As Alexander's going to try to get his team in good position. With under a minute remaining. Can he do something here on special teams? Nope, not that time. Wrapped up. Nice play on special teams by Kyle Bailey. putting pounds on Maurice Alexander. And let's see what the Panthers do here offensively, trying to run a quick offense with their backup QB. Trying to spot Morgan on the sideline.
Yeah, he's down there. He's got the knee brace on, and he'll probably be going inside earlier than everybody.
Jones is in the backfield with Wiggins. Jones coming to the near side, a little bit of space. Anthony Jones shoved out at the 50. Well, that gives Rich Skrosky and this FIU offense something to work with here. Borgalis has a great leg. He's missed a field goal tonight. Get around the 40, 37-yard line. That's certainly around his long range. 1st and 10 here. 42 seconds to go in the half. Again, they put a man in motion. They give it to Napoleon Maxwell for a gain of 5 and able to get out of bounds.
Nice run. He did. Napoleon Maxwell did a good job right there getting out of bounds. He could have maybe cut it up and cut it back to maybe get a few more yards, but being aware of the clock, got out of bounds and gave his team another down to play.
Crowd trying to rally the offense here. Let's see if the Panthers put another man in motion, whether Price or Maxwell. Here comes Maxwell, far to near side. Now Wiggins rolling out to his right. Taken off. It's near that 1st down marker. And the Panthers, I imagine, will take a timeout here. Showing off that speed there. Kenny able to turn what looks like a broken play into about a 6-7 yard gain. And the Panthers will take a 30-second timeout. Kalen Wiggins, in his first game action as an FIU Panther, was an all-states Class 8A in the state of Florida a couple of years ago at a Seminole High School.
He just brings a different dynamic to the game. I tell you, Morgan was preseason, all conference and everything, but when I tell you, when it comes to the opponent's coaching having to game plan, they would rather game plan for James Morgan than they would for Kalen Wiggins. Trust me, because when you got a dual threat quarterback and like Kalen Wiggins, just like as you've seen there, he took a broken play, nobody's open play and run for 8 yards. And that's something Morgan couldn't do. So game planning wise, he's going to bring fits to defensive coordinators as the season comes along. Well, as we see what's happened with James Morgan.
Shows the Panthers over teams like Kentucky, Army, Navy, Tulane, out of his high school recruitment. 27 seconds to go in the half. All right around field goal range for Borgalis right now. Wiggins looks like he wants to take a deep shot. He will across the middle of the field. And Gator unable to get within the vicinity of that, so it'll be 3rd and 3.
Good job by the O-line. I mean, it was a perfect pocket right there he had all day. I mean, Kalen Williams could. I mean, they gave him a chance to come off his 1st, 2nd, 3rd read. That's just another aspect of this offense that's got to be tuned up. You're going to have to give Kalen some time to be able to do his thing.
They try to get the 1st down here with the legs of Wiggins. They'll hand off to Maxwell. I don't know if he got it. Now you've got some decisions to make. You got a timeout left. It's a 4th down and short. FIU quickly to the line. Maxwell gives a push. Looks like he might have gotten it. Western Kentucky saying they stopped him short. Time's continuing to tick down. If they did get a 1st down, you want to call timeout here and take the field goal. That's an odd sequence because they're getting no more than a yard on that play. And if they do get the 1st down, you're not going to take a heave towards the end zone. So you almost wonder if.
No, I think in this situation you got to give Borgalis the opportunity. I don't know if they got a good spot here.
They might bring the chain gain out. Because it's going to make no more than a difference of a yard, right? If you go for it on 4th down there. Because if you get the first down, you call timeout, Borgalis kicks the field goal. If you don't get the yard, you give up the opportunity for a field goal.
No, you're right. And thinking, you're right. You know, you may want to call a timeout right there and kick the ball
on 4th down.
Yeah, on 4th down. I mean, on 3rd down. Kick it there on 3rd down and.
Where's I off on my downs? Is it 4th down now?
Yes, it's 4th down now, so it was 3rd down. So if you
beg your pardon, that's a turnover on the broadcaster there.
Yeah,
so it was 3rd down, not 4th.
Right.
Well, no, they're bringing the chains out.
Yeah, they're bringing it out. So it's 4th down right now because of that quarterback sneak. So in reference to what you were saying, yes, it probably would have been maybe a better decision where it's going to really turn out to be a bad decision if you don't get this first down here. But like you said, on 3rd down there, it's 3rd and 1. Instead of quarterback sneaking it, just call a timeout. Call a timeout, kick the field goal with 8 seconds to go. Well, no, it was 4th down. I'm sorry, right? Yeah, it was 4th down.
And Western stopped them. They sure did. That's where my confusion was from, Kenny, because even if you get the first down, you're kicking the field goal.
Yeah,
so why not just kick the field goal
on the 4th down
play?
Right.
Because you give Western the opportunity. I mean, Kalen Wiggins is not the big body that James Morgan is. And so maybe you sacrifice 3 points there.
Yeah.
After a pretty good 1-minute offense. And now Western Kentucky will kneel to head into the locker room.
Wow. And that 3 points, let's just remember those 3 points, those possible 3 points, because it may, hopefully it don't come back to bite you.
Battle in the half. Western Kentucky on the road in the heat of Miami. And with the lead, 14-7 after 2 quarters of play. We'll see what adjustments the Panthers make in the locker room. A great crowd, some great plays in the first quarter, but a much quieter second period. Aside from Western Kentucky driving down the field and taking a 7-point lead into the break. We're at halftime in Miami, 14-7 Western Kentucky. We'll return in a few moments after a word from our sponsors after this. Welcome back to Ricardo Silva Stadium as we take a look back at the highlights from last season's FIU victory. And really Panthers were able to control the ground game, Kitty. Devontae Price had a big game, but tonight doesn't resemble the night of Bowling Green last year.
No, it doesn't. And you mentioned it. The running game. The running game has been absent. I mean, actually, it's been absent for the last 2 games. But you got a good staple of running backs back there. But you're probably going to have to rely more on the running game now as FIU Panthers now that the backup quarterback is in there. So you would think that now that, Coach Davis and the rest of the coaching staff will get in the locker room and make some adjustments to get that running game going.
14-7 our score of the half. We'll take a break. We'll be back after this on ESPN+. At the half, Western Kentucky up on the road over FIU, 14-7 the score. A touchdown in both quarters for the Hilltoppers has them up in the opening game of conference play. A.J. Ricketts alongside Kenny Kelly. All right, so the long-term prognosis of James Morgan, we don't know. We know he hurt his knee. That's all we know for right now. So if you're the Panthers, your focus turns to Kalen Wiggins, a very dynamic athlete, but has barely seen any time. This is his first action as an FIU Panther. So where do you go from here? Can you change the offense on the fly like that?
Well, obviously this is something that, as a coaching staff, you don't expect and you wish that don't happen. But now that he's thrust in this position to be able to lead this team going going in for the second half, you're really going to have to go with plays that Kalen Wiggins feels comfortable with. He's more of a mobile passer, so to get him out of the pocket, get him on the run, and get some guys in space, and get the ball out of his hands quick, I think that'll be a more successful path for Kalen Wiggins going into the second half.
Well, Butch Davis and company have their work cut out for them heading to the second half. All right, speaking of coaches, both of these programs have had some pretty high-profile guys through the years. Let's take a look at that. Let's start with Western Kentucky. All right, at the beginning of this decade, Willie Taggart, now at Florida State, he led the Toppers through a lot of success. Bobby Petrino had 1 year guiding Western Kentucky. And then Jeff Brom, who's now at Purdue, they've had some pretty big names.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, and you have a lot of coaches that's come through here that you didn't even name that gets the opportunity to be on a big stage and to prove what they can do. And fortunately, FIU has had a great number of good coaches that come through here.
Yeah, and you look at FIU staff, let's go back to 2010. Kenny, you look at 4 coaches on that staff. Seeing 1, 2, 3, 4 there, led by Mario Cristobal. That's all where they're at now. Todd Orlando on the left, the defensive coordinator at Texas. Pretty good big ball game for them tonight. But Cristobal leading Oregon. Jeff Collins at Georgia Tech. Scott Satterfield at Louisville. That 2010 coaching staff was loaded.
Yeah, and you got to give credit to the athletic director, the president, and the athletic director, Pete Garcia, in bringing these coaches in. And it kind of reminds you of the University of Miami days when they had a slew of great coaches come through there and change that program around. So you just have to give kudos to these guys, and they're trying to bring coaches in here to change this program.
All right, it's 14-7 our score at the half. Be back in a little bit on ESPN+.
How much I think it weighs?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let me see. Oh, Lord. Oh, lordy.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness.
Okay, here we go. Whoa. Okay. Oh, whoa. Hey, that's crazy.
And you can pick it up if you want.
No, thank you. I'm superstitious.
No, I'm not picking it up. I was guessing.
Whoa. Heavier than I thought.
See how heavy the actual trophy. Like, this is real. This is real deal.
It's a nice little trophy.
Oh my Lord, Chris, this is heavy.
I think it's
Oh man, hold it like this so I know, like a person. Yeah. Okay.
I lifted weights this morning. I should be pretty good.
Right.
Oh, it's pretty heavy. Shoot.
Conference USA Championship Trophy, and I'm going to say that it weighs 54 pounds.
I'm gonna go with 85 pounds.
63 pounds.
94.6 pounds.
95 pounds.
57 pounds.
I'm gonna give that 30 pounds. I think it's 200 pounds. That it? 22 pounds.
55 pounds.
80 pounds.
Let's see. How about 75 pounds?
78.67 pounds. I think that weighs 75 pounds.
Sage, give me a picture of me holding the trophy, quick.
It's 58.6.
85 pounds.
12 pounds. What is it really?
Probably give it 102 pounds.
52 pounds.
I should know this since we had this last year. I'm gonna say 50 pounds.
Roughly about 45 to 46 pounds.
I eat the same thing every pregame. I eat baked chicken and a baked potato.
Baked potato, you get a choice if you want to put, stuff it with some chicken and some cheese and some butter, and it helps me get my carbs and my protein in.
Grilled chicken and a loaded baked potato.
Baked potatoes. I have to have a baked potato at this point before every game.
Spaghetti, pasta.
I like eating spaghetti before a game.
Spaghetti, 2 pieces of chicken breast with some A1 on it, and some pineapples.
I'm not really too big on spaghetti, the carbs and everything. I like just the straight protein.
So I make sure I always have a side salad. I think I have some corn, mashed potatoes, and a medium steak.
Macaroni and steak.
Steak and rice.
Nice juicy steak.
Steak, twist it up, dip it in some barbecue sauce. Then you got a nice little salad with some cheese and ranch, and then probably some mashed potatoes and corn.
Chicken, bread, and the honey.
I got the routine down to eat a lot in the morning and then a little bit less before the game starts.
Just something light so that I have a little bit of something. Chicken, lasagna, and probably baked potato.
If I eat good, something heavy but light at the same time because I know I'll burn it off all by warm-ups.
I really enjoy the sandwich and chips that we get for the snack.
Mac and cheese, for sure.
Pancakes and the chicken breast.
Some candy, some of my favorite sours before the game. The sour ones, though.
If we're on a good run, I'll wear the same jacket every game.
Listening to my favorite song, making sure I play the song right before I get taped.
If it's really hot, I gotta have an iced coffee before the game and at halftime, just because I'm a caffeine addict, so I gotta have a lot of caffeine going through me.
I always got to tap the win sign right when we come out the locker room. If you don't tap it, you never know what's going to happen.
I try to get dressed the same way every time, change into like my compressions and stuff, and then I'll have to wait a certain amount of time before I can get changed. And then at a certain time, once I have like my pants on and my cleats, and then I go get my tape done, and then I kind of slowly get everything ready to go so that as soon as they're calling us up, I'm getting my helmet on. That's the last thing I have to put on, and that's it. I don't have to worry about anything else.
Normally on game day, all my teammates tell me this, but they say you don't talk a lot. So on game day, I kind of just like listen to music, go throughout the day. And before we run on the field, I always play the same game on my phone.
I don't really treat a game day different than any practice day. I walk in and just have fun.
Just intense focus. I don't really need the music. I don't really need the hype. I just like to, lock in.
Praying right in my locker before I head out in the field and praying with 3 of my teammates before the game starts.
Get in the hot tub, you know what I'm saying, before the game, relax my body, get loose. If I can't get in the hot tub, it kind of throw me off a little bit.
All right, we're all set for the second half at Ricardo Silva Stadium. Western Kentucky 14, FIU 7 after a half of play. A bit of a surprise here. The Panthers, the favorites heading into this game. Western Kentucky came out attacking with some bold plays. An onside kick, flea flicker. They made a statement there in the first half. In the first 6 or 7 minutes, it was the trick plays, but the next quarter and a half, Kenny, it was their defense which stood out, no doubt about it.
Yeah, and you got to give credit to both coaches on both sides. I mean, Coach Davis and Coach Helton, they both making adjustments. I've seen a few cat and mouse games that's been played on the defensive side and the offensive side of Western Kentucky and the defensive side of FIU. So let's see what kind of adjustment that went in the half is made. I know with Coach Davis, he's a mastermind at going in and making adjustments and coming back out second half.
254 first half yards for Western Kentucky, 91 for FIU. And Kalen Wiggins remains on the field at quarterback for the Panthers. He goes to Alexander and the boundary on the first play, and that goes for nothing.
Wiggins pass complete to Maurice Alexander.
Well, we saw in the bowl game, getting, FIU put a dual threat quarterback in there to a lot of success, but they had about a month to prepare for that.
Yeah.
They're throwing Kalen Wiggins in there now off this injury to Morgan. They'll put that into the pads of Devontae Price, down to the ankles for no more than a yard. That Western Kentucky defense has come to play tonight.
Yeah, and they're really plugging those holes, Julian Jones. And the thing is with this front seven of Western Kentucky, they're going to dare you to throw the ball. But their weakest point is the defensive backfield. So they're going to make you beat them throwing the ball. And, obviously that's what they've shown so far.
A minute into the third quarter here and a 3rd and long for FIU. Western Kentucky showing blitz. They rush 5. Malone had a undeterred path to the quarterback, and that play is blown up.
Wiggins' pass is incomplete.
That play was going nowhere. Malone was unblocked all along the edge. And not an encouraging first drive out of the locker room for FIU.
No. You got to and here's going to be the big test for Coach Strosky and the offensive staff. What plays, how can you put Wiggins in a good position to be able to make this offense successful, and that's going to be the test tonight.
Heatherly's been one of the lone bright spots for
look at this
FIU this evening. He sends them all the way back to the 20-yard line. Wow. What a special teams play. 53 yards on that punt for the Panthers.
He is really making up for last week. And you know, it's good. The good thing is Coach Davis and Villano and the staff didn't give up on him. You know, a lot of times you see coaches give up on guys. You know, they have a bad game or two. It's good to see the coaching staff didn't give up on him. They're sticking with him, and he's proving them that he's the man for that job.
And Thomas Leo got out there last week for 2 punts.
Oh, yeah.
And Butch Davis said before, I asked him, you going with Heatherly again? He said, yeah, we're going to stick with Heatherly, but he shanks one or two. You know, and Thomas knows he's coming in.
Yep.
That has not been the case this evening. 1st and 10 for Western Kentucky. Their own 20-yard line. They'll fake the option pitch. Good play out of the secondary.
Ooh, that was close.
Nearly a split second too early.
Might have got away with a call right there. It looked like he made contact with the receiver a little bit before the ball was there.
2nd and 10 now for Western Kentucky. They'll load the near side. Trips rights with Fortenberry, the tight ends, part of that trio. The screen to Jackson was nearly picked off for 6, but Jackson's going to get a first down out of this. Boy, I don't know how he wound up with a football. It seemed like FIU read that screen right away, but before you know it, Lucky Jackson had a first down.
Yeah, he took a gamble. Dames took a gamble, and it cost him 13 yards. Good thing it didn't cost him a touchdown, because one or two broken tackles and he's scoring. But that's the risk you got to take right now, this defense. You got to gamble sometimes. Take some risks. You got athletes out there that can make plays. They've been making plays all their life in high school and here. So let them go out there and, make plays and have fun.
Lucky Jackson, a redshirt senior from Lexington. He's been Conference USA honorable mention the last 2 years. His first name, Dontavian. He's been a part of this system for a while. Came in, was playing in 2016 behind guys like Taywan Taylor, Nicarius Fance, Nicholas Norris. And that year, they played at Alabama that season, had a 24-yard touchdown in Bryant-Denny Stadium.
Yeah.
26 receptions for 395 yards his redshirt freshman campaign. And from there, they knew they had a guy that the Tops could really lean on for a number of years to come. Last season, 50 receptions for 552 yards, 4 touchdowns. And number 11 in the red and white has been a staple for the Tops the last couple seasons. Last year against FIU, 5 catches for 30 yards, but again, a game that never was really in question after the first quarter. It is a different story tonight in Miami.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you one thing I like about Lucky Jackson, AJ, is the fact that he's 6'1", about 185, 190 pounds, but he plays like he's 6'3", 6'4". And he's shown that with a couple catches a day where he went over defenders to be able to make a catch.
1st and 10 after the Jackson first down. Put Pearson in motion towards Fortenberry, the tight end. They've been going play action. Good deal tonight. Big hit there on the near sideline. Jamal Gates. Gates, Jackson, Lewis. Once again, they've been a steady 3 at the linebacking spot for FIU.
And playing a lot better today. Just staying with the keys. And that's the biggest thing you want to see. You want to see these linebackers just stay consistent with reading their keys and allowing other guys to make plays as well.
And you've seen better gap control along the defensive line as well, but 181 passing yards right now for Western Kentucky. 2nd down, Gage Walker on the ground. Not much doing along the right side, and a late flank comes in as well.
T.R. Tart just being a beast out there right now. He's getting in the backfield, but he's 1 or 2 inches away from getting the TFL.
See what the call is here. Came from the umpire. That's going to be a holding on the defense. And that'll give Western Kentucky a first down.
That's interesting.
That's the, I think it's the first penalty on FIU tonight. Western Kentucky 3 penalties for 15 yards, and that'll be the first for the Panthers. So 1st and 10 now at the Western 49.
First down.
Four down lineman for the Panthers. Walker tripped up in the backfield. Rare miscue today for Walker, the redshirt junior from Tampa, product of East Bay High School. That 68-yard touchdown run on the first play from scrimmage last week. That was the longest carry in Conference USA Week 1. He's not broken one open for that kind of gain today, but does have a touchdown to put Western Kentucky in front by 7. 2nd and 11 now at the 48s. 3-step drop for Duncan. Beautiful pass across the middle. Fortenberry has been all over the place today, inside the 25-yard line of FIU. Fortenberry had 1 catch last week. That was his 5th today. He's over 70 yards receiving.
Yeah, he was wide open. He had no one around him. I don't know if it was busted covers or it was a great route that was ran, but he was wide open.
Josh Powell made the tackle. 1st and 10 now at the 24-yard line. This crowd, let's get the sense they're not sure what's happening right now. Duncan surveying the defense. Gets a 5-6. Good hustle there along the near sideline by Jackson to get another yard or two. He was gang tackled at the 20 and fell forward to the 18. Western Kentucky just a tougher team right now.
They're making a lot of great calls, and they're also controlling the ball. They're controlling the clock. As you can see, first half they control the clock, and they just want to keep their offense on the field, keep the FIU defense on the field, and continue to score points.
Yeah, they're in no hurry right now. Play clock down to 8 as a man goes in motion. Walker the carry. Has a blocker. Turning his feet and down to the 6-yard line is Gage Walker. 12-yard gain on the play. Walker with 76 yards now on the ground. And O-line's starting to get some push. Duncan's going to go under center here. You get the feeling FIU defensively needs another big play like that 80-yard pick 6. He's got options in the end zone and overthrew it. Well, looks for a moment like Fortenberry had some space, but that was closed down very quickly in the secondary by Jackson.
Yeah, I tell you, all around, this is a lot better football team than what we saw at West Kentucky last season. And Helton has done a great job with these boys.
And again, they looked fine in the first 3 quarters against Central Arkansas. Certainly, you always want to put an FCS team maybe away earlier, but they had a 2-touchdown lead as Walker trying to get to the edge. Cut off. It'll be 3rd and goal. Certainly added to the frustration for Western Kentucky fans. It was the same story as last year. Maine handed them a loss out of the FCS.
Yeah.
And then they were ready. They got rid of Mike Sanford, ready for a new era. Felt like things were rolling with touchdowns early. And then Humboldt by CAU. It's been a different story tonight. 9:40 to go, 3rd quarter. Big sequence coming up right here. See if they go power to the left side with Duncan. They do just that. Duncan right at the goal line. Big pile. It's not going to push him in. And if you're Tyson Helton, you have a decision to make right now.
Well, I think you're on the road. You got nothing to lose. I'm pretty sure they're going to go for it. You got FIU to back up quarterback in. Worst case scenario, you don't get it. You got FIU pinned at the 1-yard line. So I would look for Helton to go for it here, and I wouldn't be surprised if they would run the same play. You got a big quarterback. And I wouldn't be surprised that he takes Stephen Duncan here at 6'4", 230 pounds, and I'm pretty sure he's probably about, just as a downhill runner as some of his backs are.
5 seconds to get the play off. Now Duncan quickly to the line. He's got 1 second.
Didn't get it.
And Tyson Helton sprinting to the referee to call timeout right before that. This is a big sequence here in the third quarter with 8:44 left to go. As Western Kentucky takes a 30-second timeout. Jay Ricketts, Kenny Kelly with you here at Ricardo Silva Stadium in Miami. 14-7 our score. FIU does not have an offensive touchdown tonight. There are only 7 points coming off an 80-yard pick six from Rashard Dames. You think they still go for it here, Kenny?
Yeah, I think so. Like I said, you're in a conference game. You've been playing great. You have a lot of momentum. I mean, I think you go for it here.
You do see Corey Munson warming up, and yeah, he's gonna.
Yeah, well,
he's gonna head out on the field.
Yeah, they changed their mind.
I tell you what, you mentioned pinning the FIU offense at the one, but you also kick it off to them with a 2-possession lead. You feel comfortable with that, the way that their offense is operating. 19-yard field goal here from Corey Munson, who is not the first-string kicker. Alex Ranella suspended for the first 2 games. This one up, and it is good.
Chip shot.
2-possession lead now for the Tops, 17-7 after the drive. We're back after this from Miami. Welcome back to Ricardo Silva Stadium. It's Conference USA football on ESPN+. AJ Ricketts, Kenny Kelly, a 10-point lead for the Hilltoppers, Western Kentucky. So we take a look at the college football scoreboard. Price will keep this in the end zone. Oklahoma all over South Dakota right now, 42-0. Up the road in Boca Raton, 18th ranked UCF with a 28-6 lead over FAU at the half. Minute to go in the first half, Texas and LSU. LSU with a 13-7 lead. Miami and North Carolina in battle right now, and the Tar Heels with a 17-3 lead up in Chapel Hill. See Maryland, Syracuse today?
Yeah, that was
Terps
shocking.
put up 63 on the 21st ranked Qs. Yeah. They're saying if Syracuse had won that game, they might get college game day with Clemson next week, but I don't envision that happening anymore. Wiggins will start off this drive, placing it into the pads of Anthony Jones for a minimal gain along the right side. All right, Kenny, you're a QB. You kind of understand this dynamic, but if you're FIU, how much do you have to change the offense here? Do you keep it on the ground more? Do you have to open up the playbook to Wiggins at some point?
Well, what you have is with FIU, you have a certain amount of plays that's designed for Wiggins, and you're going to stick with those plays throughout the game. So I think Strowski and the rest of the staff have a good game plan when you have to put in Wiggins or any other backup. But I think there's 10 to 15 design plays just for Wiggins.
And that's a positive gain right there for Wiggins and FIU. The Panthers saw that on their initial drive with them. Western Kentucky adjusted well, that time biting a little bit too hard on that read option.
Yep.
Let's see how the linebackers key in on. Wiggins will keep it again. Yep. They read him that time for a gain of 1. Beautifully read defensively by Antoine Kincaid. The junior at 29 tackles last year. Yeah, he was not fooled on that.
And as an offensive staff, if I was the coordinator or quarterback's coach or whatever right now at FIU, you just instructing, Caleb Wiggins to just go out there, have fun, and protect the ball. Basically, you're a police officer now. You're here to protect and serve. Protect the ball and serve it to your teammates, and just get us in a position to win.
Dropped passes did not help FIU in the first quarter. They had 11 drops against Tulane, and that's going to be a hold on the Panthers. As Wiggins was once again trying to find some free space. think Sterling Palmer going to be flagged for the hold there. As Juwan Jones, a redshirt sophomore from Sugar Hill, Georgia, was all up in the backfield.
Yeah, good player.
They will decline the penalty, though. So it'll be 3rd and 9 rather than 2nd and 19. This crowd is dead quiet. Panthers desperate for some sort of explosive play. Wiggins again uncomfortable in the pocket. Needs to get it off. Just going to sling one deep to Maurice Alexander, who comes back to the football and makes a play. Well, there's the explosive play that FIU needed.
There you go. Not a great pass. not a great setup of the play, but Wiggins kept the play alive with his legs, and you just throw it up and just let your playmakers make plays, and that's exactly what happened. Wasn't a perfect pass, wasn't a perfect play, but just give your players the opportunity to make plays.
Alexander coming back to the football, making a play for his quarterback, who's seeing his first time on the field as an FIU Panther. 40 yards on 3rd and 9. Now 1st and 10 at the 17. Jones behind Wiggins again, pre-snap motion. Jones cuts to the right side. Gain of 3 on 1st and 10. Well, you feel confident if you're FIU that you'll at least get 3 points here and able to make it a one-possession game once again.
Yeah, but remember what we talked about before the end of the half, or that important play at the end of the half where quarterback sneak on 4th down, you probably call a timeout there. So remember those 3 points that Paulus can have, maybe. Oh, great play.
In fact, they give it to Maxwell. He's rumbling to the end zone. He's in. Touchdown, FIU. Napoleon Maxwell on the sweep. Back to a one-possession game. First offensive touchdown for FIU tonight. The redshirt senior. Boy, he's quite a story too, Kenny. Yeah. 2 ACL injuries. He's had 2 redshirt seasons. And he's had many trips to the end zone in his years here.
Yes, sir.
Napoleon Maxwell, his first touchdown of the season, and some signs of life for FIU. Borgalis with the PAT. Well, here comes FIU, down by 10. They score the touchdown. They give it off to Maxwell. He does the rest. Barreling forward, determines. It's a one-score game in Miami. Napoleon Maxwell, a determined effort to get into the end zone. Kenny, that drive, 7 plays, 75 yards. Took a little heave from Wiggins to Alexander to extend the drive, but Maxwell made sure it'd be finished well.
Yeah, well, you know, Wiggins coming in and making a great impact, bringing something different to this offense that this Western Kentucky staff hadn't seen. And so you just got to keep it rolling. But Wiggins is not going to be able to do this on his own this whole game. He's going to need his teammates. And starting right now, he's going to need a defense right now to go in there. If they can get a 3 and out, it's going to create so much momentum for this Panthers team.
First touchdown of the season for Napoleon Maxwell as Western Kentucky lets this sail into the end zone. That was certainly the most game pressure FIU had felt this season. They were behind 21-0 before you knew it.
Yeah.
Up at Tulane. And a meaningful 3rd and 9. Now, I was almost a little surprised that Western declined the hold on Sterling Palmer to make it 3rd and 9 rather than 2nd and 19.
Yeah, I was
just
going to
say for the
say
field
so.
position, the confidence they have in their D-line. I felt 3rd and 9 would be more. They still almost got out of it. It took a miraculous play Monday morning quarterback over here.
Yeah, but I would
have felt 2nd and 19 with how well the defense had done. But it took a big play. Western Kentucky back on offense now. 6:03 to go, third quarter. Duncan fakes it to Walker. Looking to go deep down the near sideline. Hall's tracking this one down. It's picked off. FIU football. Second interception of the game. It's the first for Dorian Hall.
Great job by Dorian Hall keeping the receiver underneath him, not staying the deepest at the deepest, and he just read the quarterback's eyes there, and he made a great jump. But what helped him there, like I said, he stayed over top and kept the defender underneath him and was able to make a break on that play. Great job.
Extending his hands to make the catch, looking like a wide receiver in stride. Big play for FIU, another pick. And once again, the momentum shifting in FIU's favor. Can they capitalize again on this turnover? As Hall receives the turnover belt. WWE style belts along the sideline. Wiggins in the gun to start off this drive. Oh, it's fumbled. Wiggins diving on it to maintain possession. Sloppy plays in succession. And give Dorian Hall a lot of credit. Jaquez Sloan was trying to knock it out of his hands as he was going to the ground, and it looked like it was bobbled momentarily.
Yeah.
Hall hanging on, knowing how critical a play like that was. There was a play in the second quarter across the middle of the field that he was just a split second late for at the pass breakup. That time, you knew where it was going.
Yeah.
2nd and 13, though, after the fumble. Wiggins will keep it again, but all eyes on him from that linebacker unit. Lost his helmet.
Oh, no, man. That means he's got to come out.
He's got to come out. And so we might see Caleb Lynham here on this play. I think that's going to force Butch Davis to call a timeout. On 3rd and 7. Well, this is going to be interesting. Unless they somehow say, look, it happened a period of time after the tackle, but looks like it was during that sequence.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, FIU facing 3rd and 7 at the 29-yard line. Dorian Hall with the interception. Western Kentucky loving the play action tonight. And Hall anticipating that.
I think that was a smart decision, a smart call by Coach Davis there in calling the timeout. That gives you, this is an important 3rd and 7. So that gives you an opportunity to be able to talk it over.
Well, Wiggins is going to stay in, too.
Yeah, and that gives you, with the timeout, that gives you the opportunity to let that player that lost his helmet, he gets to stay in the game. So smart move.
Well, it's certainly a passing down. Want to force a player in his first play as an FIU Panther, with everyone in the world knowing they're going to throw. In this juncture of the game, under 5 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. Western bringing the house. Wiggins needs to get it off. He's brought down from behind. The Toppers got to him. They sensed what was coming. Juwan Jones with the sack. Had a half a sack against CAU. Well done by Western Kentucky. Look, defensive coordinator Clayton Whites knew that, the FIU quarterback hadn't felt comfortable in the pocket all night long and wanted to force him to step up, and Wiggins was unable to do so. That's the shortest punt of the night from Heatherly. Caught near midfield. We'll keep it right here. 17-14. The Panthers unable to take advantage of the interception. You feel at some point tonight, Wiggins is going to have to make some plays in the pocket.
Of course. Yes, of course. And if that didn't show you, they're going to put 9. They're going to make Wiggins throw it. And what I seen that last series is that Western Kentucky put an extra guy in the box. They brought an extra guy in the box along on the outside to kind of keep Kalen in the pocket. And so that's what they're going to do. I think Western Kentucky is going to span their defense a little bit and probably try to rush wide to keep him in the pocket. If anything, he's going to have to step up and make plays.
17-14. Can the defense step up once again? Walker on the first carry of the drive for 2 yards.
Walker carries
Walker approaching 100 yards here, Kenny.
Yeah, and I think this is a big series, too.
You see these guys who make position changes and have immediate success. It's Maurice Alexander for FIU, quarterback to wide receiver all conference. Gage Walker from DB to running back, and he's one of the top rushers in the country right now. It's always fascinating.
Yeah.
I wonder where was this before? Walker again, sealed off from the outside, and it's going to be a 3rd and long for Western Kentucky.
And a lot of those kids that switch positions like that, they obviously played that position in high school. So, and that gives the coaching staff an opportunity to say, hey, we can switch this kid to this position because he also played it in high school. So, so coming in, you don't know what you're going to get from a kid, and sometimes a position change is the best for not only him but for the team.
3rd and 7. Jackson shifts inside, a couple of yards. Duncan flush from the pockets. Tier Tart chasing him. He lost the football. Duncan able to fall on top of it, but lost about 15 yards, or 10 yards on the play, excuse me, as Tier Tart was hounding him from behind. Nearly a disastrous play. If Duncan slipped, that would have been a scoop and score. Instead, 3 and outs for Western Kentucky.
Finally, a 3 and out, and it's got to be a momentum. It's got to be a momentum changer for this offense.
Well, interception, 3 and out, nearly another turnover. It's been a much more crisp defensive effort for FIU today, and that was nearly blocked. Terrific punts. Alexander not calling fair catch, assessing the scene, not much there. Good coverage on the punts from Western Kentucky. Well, FIU with an opportunity to tie or take the lead when we return. Grinding with their backup quarterback, Kalen Wiggins, back on the field when we return at Ricardo Silva Stadium. College football on ESPN+. Well, Kalen Wiggins doing all he can right now to keep FIU in this. An admirable job thus far. 2 for 5. He's making plays on the ground as well. He's been chased and flushed out of the pocket with regular occurrence. Stays in the pocket that time. A deep dart, and Alexander dropped it. Oh, he put that on the money. And Alexander, making the heroic play last drive, could not haul that one in.
That was a great throw, man. I tell you, that was a great throw, and you're just shocked that probably one of your best playmakers on offense dropped that ball.
That was as cool, calm, and collected as Kalen Wiggins has looked at quarterback all evening. And he threw a strike to Alexander. Grant, that would have been a tough catch to make. He had coverage on him. Had a little bit of space as well. So 2nd and 10 at the 7-yard line.
It's a big game. You got to make those catches.
FIU forced to burn another timeout. Another one of those effects of putting your backup QB in clock management, game management. And again, you wonder what the situation will be with James Morgan moving forward. He was nipped up in the first half. And we noted when he was walking off the field, he kind of slammed his hands together in frustration. We said, we wonder if that's because of the sack or because he knows he's got a tough injury. And
yeah,
we'll see what the FIU medical staff has for us after the game. That's going to be a big factor in what FIU can do this season. Certainly, I mean, Kalen Wiggins is more of an unknown right now. He's,
of course.
If he throws the ball like that, stands in the pocket like that all season long, well, FIU may be all right. But it's been a little scattered thus far. Admirable, but not as smooth as FIU would prefer it to be.
Well, he's going to be prepared, and that's one thing. I've been here 2 years, and what happened to Magoo in St. Petersburg, and then what happened to Morgan last year, Coach Davis and office staff made it very, very clear that we must have a second quarterback available at any time.
Backed up near their own goal line. Maxwell will get an opportunity. Finds a bit of a seam to make it third and manageable here for the Panthers. Again, FIU struggled on third down last week. They're 2 for 11 tonight. That theme really hasn't changed. They were first in the conference in third down efficiency last season, nearly 50%. Good for 16th in the country. And these are the third downs that Butch Davis has no problem dealing with. 3rd and 3. He can live with that. A lot of 3rd and 8, 9s, 10s last week. Wiggins, will he keep it? No. And Western Kentucky may have held FIU on that play. Just chops down to the ground to the ankles.
4th down, you got a punt.
Big tackle by Jalen Madden as the third quarter winds down. 4th and 1. We said earlier, but Butch Davis went for it inside his own 40 earlier today on 4th and inches. 4th and 1 at this point inside your own 20. Bobbled it. Barely gets it off. Fair catch called for.
Oh, that might be a
catch interference. And special teams costing the Panthers here at the end of the quarter. (17-14) with 44 seconds left here. 172 yards of offense tonight for FIU. Western Kentucky with 300 plus. Nearly doubling the Panthers' offensive totals, but a 3-point game.
Yeah, these mistakes are starting to take a toll. Mistakes on the Panthers side. The last special teams, you had a late block in the back by Dimitri Prophet that cost us some yards, and now you got a interference right here with the receiver. So, you know, it's costing you, and you can't afford to have those type of penalties right now in this type of game for going into the 4th quarter.
Walker able to get a couple of yards on first down there. You saw Lucky Jackson spotlighted. He leads the tops in receiving yardage tonight. 6 catches for 93 yards. Under 30 seconds to go, third quarter. See if WKU gets one more playoff. They don't have to take a snap if they prefer not to. A couple seconds difference between the play and game clock, and they won't. A lot of folks here will now put their 4s in the air. On to the 4th quarter. Western Kentucky 17, FIU 14. The home opener for the Panthers. Conference opener for both these teams. Nobody wants to go 0-2 the 4th quarter when we return on ESPN+. We welcome you back to ESPN Plus's coverage of Conference USA football. And after 3 quarters of play, Western Kentucky with a field goal edge and driving in FIU territory. AJ Ricketts, Kenny Kelly, beautiful night in Miami. Pleasure to have you alongside us. Conference USA opener. Duncan gives it off. Walker nowhere to go on 2nd down. The run defense much more formidable all throughout the night. Gage Walker, on paper, he looked at the night he had against Central Arkansas last week, and FIU fans thinking, oh, this might be another problem. But so far tonight, he's been efficient, but no big gains for the Western Kentucky running game.
Yeah, and that's what you want as a FIU defense, eliminate the big plays. And last week there were a lot of big plays that were given up. So eliminate the big plays, create turnovers, and you have a really, really good opportunity to win the game.
Duncan in contention to have his 2nd straight 300-plus yard game. They keep it on the ground on 3rd and long, and Walker rumbling his way for a 1st down. All sorts of green space on the left side. Well done by that offensive line to seal the edge and give Walker a clear path for a fresh set of downs.
Yeah, and that was just a great play call, just being conservative, and it Helton's being conservative, and it actually panned out.
Jordan Woods coming in along the defensive line for FIU have caused some chaos in the backfield at times today. Good pursuit by Richard Dames to stop Walker around the line of scrimmage on that first down. You look at the two defensive tackles for FIU right now. Jordan Woods, transfer from Georgia Tech. Tier Tart, who at one time was an SEC guy. They're counting on these guys to cause some chaos in the backfield all throughout the year. And the FIU D-line saying that Seth Jost might have jumped. Or Meredith at right guard, Jordan Meredith. Flag on the field. That'll be Jordan Meredith, the redshirt junior hometown kid out of Bowling Green with the false start. Western Kentucky, one of just two offensive lines to return every starter along with the Oregon Ducks. Critical series right here. FIU desperately trying to at least limit Western Kentucky to a field goal. Keep it a one-possession game.
Yeah.
The Hilltoppers get a two-possession lead fourth quarter the way the FIU offense has been and operating the second half. You know, that's going to change the trajectory here. Duncan right across the middle. Not much doing there for Pearson. Going to be 3rd and long.
Good to see FIU defense. You got guys in the right places at the right time, staying with their keys and assignments, not being over-aggressive. And that's why you're seeing less big plays this week.
4th catch of the game for Pearson, who played at Flanagan High School in Lauderdale under Coach Devin Bush. I'd be surprised if he was here in the building tonight. 3rd and 15 for Western Kentucky. Critical 3rd down here. They keep it on the ground. Walker brought down at the 26. And now you put pressure on Corey Munson, who is not, again, he is not the starter. Alex Ranella suspended for the first 2 games. Missed a 32-yarder in the fourth quarter against Central Arkansas after a 68-yard drive. He was 17 for 23 in high school in Warner Robins, Georgia. Got a 43-yard field goal from the left hash right here. Snap, hold, kick on its way.
Did you get it?
That is good.
Wow.
Buried it. Line drive through the uprights, and Western Kentucky takes a 6-point edge on the road, but still a one-possession game. Kalen Wiggins and the FIU offense, a chance to take the lead once again when we return under the South Florida sunset here in Miami. Well, a few days ago, of course, Hurricane Dorian churning its way through much of the Bahamas, leaving destruction all in its wake. One of the worst hurricanes to ever hit the island, unprecedented damage. Of course, all of us here certainly encourage you to donate and give back to the Bahamas at some point if that's an opportunity you can do. There's so much destruction. There is a place that both FIU and Western Kentucky have spent time. In the Bahamas Bowl, Nassau wasn't hit as hard, thankfully, as Maxwell tripped up on the return. So where the Thomas Robinson Stadium in Nassau, where that bowl game is held, was able to avoid a lot of the brunt of the destruction. But you know, here at FIU, certainly a noticeable contingent of students, you know, from the Bahamas. Coconut Grove in Miami was settled by Bahamian immigrants, and it's been great to see the relief efforts underway from here in this city and all throughout the country as folks try to help that nation get back on their feet. It was heading towards Miami. It was, I mean, a lot of folk, you couldn't buy gas in this area last week. Anthony Jones, first carry on this drive. Well done, Western Kentucky D-line. Once again, D'Angelo Malone getting his name in there. Hasn't been
good player.
As much of a factor as he was against Central Arkansas. It's hard to replicate a 3.5 tackle for loss performance. Conference USA honorable mention honor last year. does have at least 1 sack in 4 straight games, dating back to last year. Again, that motion offense pre-snap. Devontae Price, tough run to the 35. First down, FIU. He's only seen a couple carries tonight. This is his first action this season. Gets the Panthers to move the chains. It's the second carry for Devontae Price for a gain of 8.
Yeah, it's just tough for Devontae Price to get the amount of carries that, he deserved with, Napoleon and
Anthony Jones, one of those guys in the backfield. Close to first down here on the carry. Western Kentucky trying to strip the football. I think that was Kyle Bailey was trying to force it out. Strength there from Jones. Yeah, Devontae Price, Anthony Jones, Napoleon Maxwell. 3 backs that FIU feels very confident trotting out at any points. 2nd and 2. Price trying to follow his blockers. Earns the Panthers yet another first down. Devontae Price, a junior from Punta Gorda. 560 yards, 5 touchdowns last season. Had 119 yards and 2 touchdowns at Western Kentucky. He was recruited by some Power 5 programs, even the SEC, the Kentucky Wildcats. We're looking at him. First down for FIU at the 47, moving the football, a pair of first downs. They'll give it to Maxwell, cuts inside. A hard-earned 4 or 5 yards from the redshirt senior. Starting to see more of those extra efforts, the desperation for another 2 or 3 yards. These FIU backs know the importance of this drive right here, Kenny.
Yeah, it's very important. This drive, you have to get some points. A touchdown would be great, but you got to get some points here because, time is running. And like I said, Western Kentucky has been controlling the clock the whole game, so you don't want to give them the ball back with less than 8 minutes on the clock.
Wiggins will keep it. Looking for a block from Maxwell. Whoa, laid the wood. He knocked his power out. And a flag on the play after.
Wiggins carries. Penalty marker down.
A big hit delivered by Maxwell. That flag didn't come till a number of seconds after the block. The Western Kentucky defender still slow to get up. Call a blindside block on FIU. Obviously, a difficult call. Now Tyson Helton, Butch Davis with some words for each other. The referees having to separate them. That's a big call, Kenny, as FIU is driving. That seemingly earned another first down. Now will be backed up. Let's see if we can take a look at it one more time. Now they're going to review it. The defender was stumbling. Is it? I mean,
it's close. It's close. But I think it's not a helmet to helmet.
Certainly it didn't look like a helmet to helmet, but you still, as an offensive player, your mindset is the responsibility to lay a block, whether the defender is looking at you or not. And it seemed the only reason that player had his head perhaps to the side was because he was stumbling down.
Yeah.
The direction of the defensive player was still towards the direction of Wiggins. I mean, that's a difficult call for sure.
And then I think he kind of let up. I mean, if Maxwell really wanted to, he could have really laid him out, but he laid up a little bit, I think. So it's going to be interesting what they call here.
This is a big call. Here in the fourth quarter, 9:45 left to play. Western Kentucky a 6-point lead. Looks like the player was Malik Staples. Staples, 6'1", 225, redshirt junior from Georgia. Transferred into the program from Louisville. If overturned, I believe it'll be 2nd and 5 at the 39-yard line. Both teams 0-1. Western Kentucky falling to Central Arkansas. FIU, big loss at Tulane. Been a fun one here tonight, partner.
Yeah, it has.
A lot of theatrics in the first quarter. He had a punt fest a little bit there in the second and third with some touchdowns scattered, but certainly entertaining in a one-possession game. And the backup quarterback trying to be the hero tonight for FIU.
Yeah, and I think it just all started beginning of the game. Great atmosphere, tailgate atmosphere. You had the student section that was full. Great crowd, great weather, and good music playing. It's just a normal Miami type atmosphere. You know, you got your music playing and some good football, great weather, and I think that's where it all started. And, but as you say, as going on in this game, it's been definitely some roads, some bumpy roads, and some definitely some things that have happened that you and this coaching staff probably wouldn't expect it.
Ruling on the field stands. And so that'll back FIU up to their own 41. Morgan's throwing the football. But again, they don't want to put him back in. We don't have an evaluation of what exactly that lower extremity injury is. Looks like he was walking gingerly off earlier tonight.
Yeah, you just hope it's nothing, serious. But the way he's moving around, and it doesn't look to be anything serious.
I sure hope not. FIU is going to have to ride their backup quarterback the rest of the way tonight. So 2nd and 15, it's going to be here. FIU on their own 41. Let's see how much Western Kentucky elects to bring pressure here on this drive. Price in motion. They hand it off to the junior. Price cuts upfield, back to midfield for 3rd and 7 upcoming for FIU. And it wasn't on that play, but FIU has almost exclusively been putting men in pre-snap motion, almost kind of a spread-out option look. Instead of an A and B back right alongside the tackles, they're spread out but coming in motion before the play, and they may fake to the sweep man, fake to the running back, and have Wiggins run. It has been a fun offense to watch.
Just remember that's a package. You're going to see that more with Wiggins because it's a special package for him and this offense. So you're going to see a lot.
Here comes the safety blitz from Key. Wiggins keeps it, takes a hit. It's going to be 4th and 1. They went the opposite way. That might have been Darden on the blitz. No, Key came from the safety spot. FIU's going for it here. Yep. 4th and inches. Under 9 minutes to go now as well. 6-point game. Pistol look. Price and Maxwell, the split backs. Here comes Maxwell near side. They fake to him. Jones, he has the first down and a little bit more.
Great run, hard run.
Penalty marker is down, but that's going to be on Western Kentucky. The FIU offensive line was clapping their hands after that play. David O'Meara was in for that formation. That's a big gift for the Panthers now at the 24-yard line, knocking on the doorstep of the red zone. Maloney back in. We've seen less of him since Wiggins entered the offense. Price is in the backfields. Wiggins will keep it and tripped up. They're going to say he was down. Trey Meadows, the transfer from NC State, coming up to make the play. And FIU goes backwards on first down.
Ooh, I tell you, he was in space. There was only one guy there that could tackle him. And that's what happened.
Trey Meadows needed to make that play, and he did.
Yep, he needed to make, because if he don't make that play that day, Wiggins, he scores on that.
He's made big plays in big games before, had an interception against Vanderbilt in the Independence Bowl when he was under Dave Dorn at NC State. Now a big tackle to make it 2nd and 15. Wiggins, he's going to take a shot to Maloney in the end zone. Came back towards the football, and there's the flag.
Yeah.
A little bit underthrown. Maloney adjusted and was held. And that's a huge first down for FIU.
Underthrown, and sometimes sometimes those be the best balls because, the underthrown defensive back is not. He's got his back turned. Wide receiver can be able to see the ball. He can be able to adjust. So luckily that worked out.
That's Deontay Ruffin, the junior from Louisiana. Had 2 tackles against CAU. But flagged there in coverage. 1st and 10 at the 14 for the Panthers. That's huge after going backwards 5 yards. Maloney trying to redeem himself from that drop. Maurice Alexander looking for a block. Couple juke moves inside the 10. The FIU Panthers with huge internal expectations this season. They've had slow starts to their 2 years under Butch Davis before. These are 10 of the biggest yards they may have all year at a game. 2nd and 5 at the 9-yard line. All 3 backs in there for the Panthers. Price, nowhere to go.
Yeah, I think you might have ran that rocket sweep maybe 1 or 2 many times. Western Kentucky was sitting on that, like they knew what was coming.
Kenny, if it's a defensive stand here for Western Kentucky and it's 4th and 5, 4th and 4, you almost feel like they'll go for it, don't you? Or do you kick a field goal, make it a 3-point game, and trust your defense? All sorts of possibilities here.
Yeah, I think you take the points. It's getting really hard.
3rd and 6. Wiggins will give it off. Maybe a pass here. Alexander flicks it to the end zone. Incomplete. A little bit too high to Maloney. Rich Skrosky going deep in the playbook. And what does Butch Davis do here? Shamar Thornton's coming on the field. I don't see Jose Borregales making a trip on. 4th down and 6 with under 6 minutes to go. Well defended by Western Kentucky. Maloney had an angle, but a little bit too high from the former QB Maurice Alexander. Big play right here. 5:57 left to go. Touchdown ties it. Wiggins, the backup quarterback, takes the snap. Flushed out to his left. Dashing for the marker. He has a first down.
Great job.
Inside the 4-yard line, Kalen Wiggins stepping up under pressure.
It's a great job. The way Kalen Wiggins is playing, he's not making any mistakes. He's not making any big plays either, but he's giving you an opportunity to win, and you got to stick with him. You got to stick with this guy for the rest of the game.
Great block by Maloney there too, Kenny, on the far side.
And that's one thing a lot of people don't know about Maloney. He's physical. If you're watching the game and you watch the game, watch Maloney a lot of times. He's always getting into it with the opposite defensive back because he's so aggressive and he's always trying to make something happen.
Maxwell. Now Jones. Perhaps a yard.
And Maloney does more. He does a lot of things when it comes to blocking. He's not afraid to stick his nose in there and get a guy down or what have you.
Malone made the tackle.
Now it comes down to your defense. Now your defense is going to have to make one more stop.
Well, that's if FIU gets in the end zone first. They need points. Under 5 minutes to go now. Again, Maxwell moves. A low snap. Wiggins blown up, and there's a fumble. Scramble for the football. FIU back near the 15, and they are so fortunate to fall on top of that one. Oh, wow. Disastrous. The Panthers will keep it, but at a cost.
Looks like your backup quarterback might be a little shaken up as well.
Was that Wiggins who's hurt?
Looks like it, yep.
Who could have imagined this at the beginning of the night? FIU down by a touchdown, driving in the fourth quarter. Now their backup quarterback needing to be attended to. He is up on his feet now. Caleb Lynham would be the next in line. 3rd and 16 now, though, to get to the goal line. Who's going to go in on this play? Tim Harris is talking to Caleb Lynham. But Wiggins was able to get up. And Lynham is coming in here, Kenny.
Yeah, they better hurry. You got 10 seconds on the play clock.
This is not a good recipe for success here. Play clock winding down. This is the first snap of Caleb Lynham's career, and they might have to burn a timeout. And they do. And that's a big timeout called if you don't get points, if you're FIU. Now down to their final timeout. But at the same time, that may give Kalen Wiggins enough time to get back on the field. How about this? Well, what do you do here, Kenny? 3rd down and goal. You're at the 16-yard line.
Yep.
You try to get within the 10, 5-yard line. Perhaps go for it on 4th, or are you just trying to make sure you get a field goal here?
Nah, at this point,
do you take a shot to the end zone?
Well, at this point, it's 2 down territory. This is 2 down territory.
Oh,
so
look
you
who's coming out.
Yeah, Morgan. Yeah,
James Morgan back on the field. The starter is back. Playing hurt. How about this? 3rd down and goal at the 16, and James Morgan is back in. They're going to have him throw the football. Western dialing up pressure. Morgan steps into the throw. Over to Thornton, and it's incomplete.
Hey.
That was well too far. 4:05 left to go. And again, the field goal unit's not coming out on the field. Fourth and goal to 16. They might be taking another shot at the end zone. They have to. It's 4th and goal. Western may bring pressure again here. They've got 5 along that line. 4 rush. Morgan to the end zone. Dropped. Oh, it was dropped by Gator. That might have been a touchdown.
Yep.
And now you ask a lot out of your defense. 20-14. We'll break when we come back. Western Kentucky looks to ice the game. 6-point lead in Miami. First and 10 for Western Kentucky at the 16-yard line. A couple first downs will milk this game away. But a good stand on first down for the FIU defense. It's pretty clear here. Need the ball back, need a touchdown. FIU is perhaps a catch away from getting in the end zone that last possession, but Gator unable to hold on. That's a tough play to make, Kenny. He had that safety coming in, ready to lay a big hit.
Yeah, tough catch. I was telling you along the break, that's a tough catch for a receiver, but you have to somehow catch that ball and kind of embrace the hit.
2nd down and 9. 3:25 left to go. Western Kentucky more than content to let more seconds tick off the clock. Duncan will drop back to pass. going to the flats. Walker avoiding a couple of tackles, still brought down before the first down marker, but it's going to be a much more manageable third down here. Oliver with the tackle. 3rd and 1 now instead of about 3rd and 6.
Yeah, Walker's pretty shifty. I like him. I think he's a pretty good back. He brings something.
I'll tell you what here, Kenny, under 3 minutes to go, FIU without any timeouts. All right, this might be the game right here.
Yeah, this is it.
Coming up on 2 minutes, yep. With the first down, Western all likelihood wins this one. But Walker the carry. At first glance, I don't know if he got it. It's going to be close.
Walker with the carry.
I think he's got a good spot. Yeah. Think that's first. Did he give him first down? First down.
First down for Western Kentucky.
That.
How about this performance from the Hilltoppers? Certainly not favored to win this game. They came in here to Miami. Flea flickers, an onside kick. Some athletic plays. And they've all but wrapped this one up, barring a fumble. And a penalty flag. We'll see if that was a face mask or a hold. I think a hold would stop the clock. But FIU cannot stop the clock. They have no timeouts. And that's an offensive hold. A big reason no timeouts remain. Of course, the backup quarterback and managing that situation throughout the course of this. I'll tell you what, though, Kenny, if they back it up, it's 1st and 20 now, but it's still first down, which allows more time to tick off.
Yep.
And that clock, this should be it. I don't even think you have to run plays if you're Western Kentucky.
I wouldn't. I'll take a knee. I would take a knee. You never know. Anything crazy can happen.
Duncan out of the gun. He'll hand it off. Tackled in the backfield. Tier Tart fired up.
Tier Tart, what are you doing? But, hey.
Score is 2014.
Yeah. Play to, But, now they'll go to the knee.
Yeah, they don't have to run a play, Kenny. They can take a knee.
Yep.
15 seconds left on the play clock. What a statement win from Western Kentucky. FIU had a chance on that final drive. And that should do it. Western Kentucky stuns FIU on the road. 20-14, that will do it. The Panthers fall to 0-2 in conference play. Nearly a terrific effort from the FIU backup quarterback, Kalen Wiggins. But Western Kentucky does just enough. Stephen Duncan leading his team to victory. 19 for 33, 241 yards. Lucky Jackson, 6 catches for 93 yards, and a great FIU crowd. Is not enough to bring the Panthers to victory. That's the final. Western Kentucky 20 and FIU 14. Now, this is not the way many Panther fans envision their season starting. Back to the drawing board here, Kenny. New Hampshire next week, a chance to get on track.
Yeah, and it's good. You facing a team like New Hampshire, not saying they're pushover, but at this time, you just need anything as a staff, as the Panther staff, you just need anything to get your team going. And hopefully next week with a team like New Hampshire coming in, that'll put some things back into perspective, and let's get back to rolling.
Well, the offense has only been able to put up 14 points in each of the first 2 games. There's a fun one tonight, lower scoring. But Western Kentucky picks up their first win of the season. After a tough game against Central Arkansas last week, how about the performance by Duncan, Lucky Jackson, Gage Walker, another 100-plus yard game. the Hilltoppers will have a nice flight back to Bowling Green tonight. Appreciate you joining us on ESPN Plus. For my partner, Kenny Kelly, I'm AJ Ricketts. To watch a replay of this game, as well as many others, head to watchespn.com. This has been a presentation of ESPN. Our final score from Miami: Western Kentucky 20, FIU 14. From South Florida, we bid you good night.